Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. Just want to give you a warning. This one's a little lengthy. We had a fun time recording this one. If you can stay till the end, I appreciate it. If not, hope you enjoy what you listen to. Tip of the tongue, teeth of the lips.
Tip of the tongue, teeth in the lips.
That was it, right? I think that was the one.
How now, brown cow?
How now?
Off topic, but when you break open that pumpkin, there's gonna be spiders that crawl over that bitch. Just so
I
you
hope
know.
there is, to be
That's
honest.
gonna be spooky as fuck.
See that white on top of it? That's mold.
See, I guess you wouldn't be aware of this, but I have, I think, severe OCD. And what comes with that OCD is a weird, I call disease, where I personify things that are inanimate, or not inanimate, but not living.
I mean, yeah.
So, for example, that pumpkin is still sitting there with a fuck ton of mold on it because there's a story to it where we all went out one time when my girlfriend was here and she stole that pumpkin from a pumpkin patch. And now I have a memory attached to it, and I feel like if I throw that pumpkin away, it's going to cry and be sad because it misses me. And that's what goes on in my head every fucking day.
Yeah. No, yeah.
There was a few things you felt that way about in our office. I forgot what they were.
Yep.
You had to have picked up on that being in the same office as him, though.
It's a little different because we're not as close.
Yeah, it's not
physically.
It's not as a private of an office. We're not.
True.
Emotionally, we're close.
Yeah. Now, see, I regret things now, but previously I purposely put my desk as far away from the desk up front as possible,
shit.
and it was just kind of nice to have that separation. But
Right. But for me, it sucks.
I don't stand. I was told by now that I would be upstairs, that we were putting new offices in, and
I was going to say there's an upstairs.
yeah, there's an upstairs, and it's a mess. But
Wait, there is an upstairs.
yeah,
That's
there is an
news.
upstairs. So that's supposed to get cleaned out. They're going to knock some windows in, and then that will be more office space.
Dude, we should just go up there and clean it out and just fucking go with it.
So I asked to one time, because like if ever you look above like Jordan's window, there's that like double doors.
Yeah.
They actually were just there with a forklift pulling stuff out of pallets, but some of it is like old plan vault stuff.
Really?
So there's actually a fence in there with a lock on it, and they are controlled documents that can't just be removed. Do you need a screwdriver or something for that top
No,
part?
I got it. I'm weird and fidgety with my mic. I don't know why.
No, I hear you. I have a love-hate relationship with hand holding it because like I'm going to bounce around a lot, but at the same time I like to have something to do with my hands.
I had a bad habit of always dropping my mic right to my knee. I don't know if you've seen that in any of the episodes you watched, but
Yeah, he'll drop it down to his knee and just keep talking. And it sounds like he's echoing because it's just bouncing off the walls.
And see, I think that's the biggest reason I've always loved the live feedback in the ears is then I can catch myself faster.
yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
And then you bring it back.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Joe Rogan actually said it's good for hearing you, like when you have a headset on and three people are talking, it's hard to keep doing it because you realize that like it's just fucking chaotic shit in your ears. But when you don't have headphones on, everybody just fucking talks, so it's stressful.
Absolutely. And I love it. Like I said, my background when I first started doing it was broadcasting sporting events. So to be able to take all of the crowd noise out of it and like,
Oh yeah.
you know, it's loud. There's people yelling. There's a game going on. There's music. And to be able to look at the guy who's doing, you know, color commentary and just be like, hey, we can whisper right now and hear each other. And if we pop these off, we got to scream. And
Oh yeah,
now it's-
hockey
I
games
see.
are fucking
I see
loud.
the advantage
Yeah.
of it.
Hockey games are loud. You guys probably figure, but we've been recording for like 10
Yeah.
minutes now.
Yeah, so,
I sensed that.
I always love the cold open's always the way to go.
To flow right into it.
Yeah.
But anybody listening, welcome back to the podcast. This is the Hecktic podcast, and I appreciate you for joining, the three of you out there listening. Today I have Brock Jersey with me. He is another coworker that works with me, and he's a very interesting fella.
A word for it.
So thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the episode. I have to say, that's a lot better than day one.
That was smooth
You
as
gotta
hell,
give me
bro.
some credit.
That was good.
Dude, day one was so
That was
awkward when it
good.
was with Luke. And
It
he
was me and
was
Luke,
that the
dude. Oh my
that
god.
was bad.
I like the black screen with the music, but obviously
Oh, yeah.
YouTube
got
probably
copyright.
wasn't.
I was 6% uploaded. You know how when you're like uploading
Yeah.
video, I was 6%, and it was like, you are copyrighted. And I was
Yeah.
like,
Jesus.
I used to run into that when I was rendering hockey games because even when they would play like music before a puck drop, if it was more than 10 seconds,
oh yeah,
and you learn
Yeah.
real quick that certain record labels are more litigious than others. Like AC/DC, just don't even bother.
Really?
They are so fast to it. It's not even
it's
funny.
crazy. But yeah, I don't know. They also changed their. I guess the last time. So real quick, there's two things I want to dive in, or I guess we want to dive in with you, is YouTube and the AR and VR shit on the ships, because I think that's pretty fucking cool, and you can talk about it till the sun comes up. But
yeah, well, we'll avoid that hopefully.
I don't know, man. Tristan will get pissed. Tristan gets real tired of these podcasts.
I do, and I especially will today, considering I'm down with the bid.
Sick. Down with the bid. Yeah. But anyway, YouTube changed their rules, so if you cuss within like the first 30 seconds, it's immediately demonetized.
Oh shit, we're in the clear
Shit,
this time.
ass, anything. Well,
I think you were.
yeah, I think we're good.
Gotta give the kids time to leave the room type of
exactly.
thing.
I think I don't know what it is, but they didn't tell anybody. And then everyone got pissed because they're like, I was making a lot of money, and then half of my videos were demonetized that aren't making me money anymore. You know?
Yeah, that's interesting. I knew that they'd done more with the profanity. I didn't realize there was a timer on it, so that's interesting.
Yeah. But they were just pissed because YouTube didn't tell anyone. They're just like, all right, here's the update. And then people found out when they were losing hella money.
Yeah, buried in page 17 of the updated creator terms and
Oh, so
conditions.
they even did that for older videos?
Yeah. So that's...
What the fuck?
See, I think that's why right now
That's kinda
I'm
fucked
like,
up.
yeah, play music. Like, who gives a fuck if it's demonetized, because I don't get any money. But in a year, if I'm like making money, I can make money on those old videos.
Right.
And then I'm going to be pissed because I can be making money on those, but I'm not, because I was like, play the fucking music anyway.
Yeah, and that's the thing where even like with podcasts, if they demonetize old ones, you can go back and, you know, retroactively throw a pre-roll on there and do a third-party ad and make money off the old ones if people go back, because you still have that pre-roll. But you can't go throw a pre-roll on a YouTube.
Unfortunately, no, you cannot.
Be curious to see if they ever get to that, or I suppose they like running their own ads beforehand anyway.
Can you go back and edit old videos that you posted on YouTube?
Kind of. I was just going to bring that up. They have like a YouTube studio, but everyone complains about it because it's fucking awful. But the nice thing you can do on it is once you post it, you can blur things out and cut out music.
Oh,
so you can just like cut the audio out. So like if you want to make money on the video, it's kind of nice.
Oh, so you could go back and bleep out your old curse words from that last episode.
Exactly.
Oh, shit.
But then you have to resubmit it and see if they're like, oh yeah, it's good.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I always had to do with hockey stuff, is just let it take all the music out of the intervals, and then we were okay. But
so we saved this for the podcast. So how old were you? What year was it when you like first bought your first like camera or like drone, or like found an interest in this shit?
So it wasn't all that long ago. So this is, it depends on how far we want to go back in this. So when I left school, and I always joke that it was a mutual breakup.
Yeah.
In that
we're getting in that as well. Too.
I said, you know, I don't really feel like I want to go become an engineer in a shipyard, which didn't work out.
Now you're an engineer in a shipyard.
Yeah, I moved straight into a cubicle. It was awesome. So I was still living with my parents, and it was one of these things. It's like, all right, if this is what I'm going to do, I should either save money to go back to school to make, you know, adult purchases, or buy a house. So as much as I wanted to buy drones, cameras, stuff like that, and start to get into this world of things, couldn't justify it. So spring of 2020, I bought my house. I think within a month I had the camera, I had a new computer, I had a bunch of lights. I mean, it was like, hey,
bang, bang, bang.
I got the thing out of the way. I made my down payment. Now if I show up with a brand new camera or go spend a couple grand on a drone, I don't have to walk in and be like, hey, you're still living in our house, but you got money for that shit.
Right, because that shit ain't cheap.
No, so I bought the camera and all that stuff and kind of got the ball rolling. And then that summer, I'd always been interested in the drone stuff, but when I looked at them in high school, it was like either you get really good at building your own and without having internet to learn stuff on YouTube, that wasn't an option, or you spend $2,000 on a Phantom. And as a 14-year-old, I wasn't about to do that. So then I remember I saw the DJI, they launched the first Mavic Mini, and it was like $450. It's like, all right, I can do that. Yeah. So I did that. I got it. I used it for a weekend. I did some stuff for a sailboat race. Kept having like high wind warnings and stuff because the original Mini was not great. Yeah. So it's like, okay, we're gonna return this because we're still within Amazon returns. Sent it back. Bought I think I bought the Mavic Air 2. Nice. And then had that for about a year. Crashed that. Got the Air 2S. Sold that. Bought the 3.
I think I have I don't remember what I have. I have some. We'll look at it after, and you can tell me what it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of them at this point, and they've all gotten so good. I mean, I have a collection.
I don't think people realize those DJI drones. I mean, the drone I have in there, the camera on that is better than my actual camera.
Oh,
I think it's like 40 megapixels, which is like fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's tricky. So like I have the Mavic 3, which is their flagship one, and it's got a big 4/3 sensor on it, which, not to get too technical on it, is similar to a lot of like the Panasonic, like even the GH5 and stuff like that.
Right.
And it's an awesome camera, but it's only 20 megapixels. Then I have the Mini, which is a much smaller sensor, and that'll do 48, but it does pixel stitching. So it's a 48, but it's like not a true 48.
Yeah.
Whereas the 20 is a true 20.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. I mean, for a smaller sensor to be able to do that, you don't have to have this huge resolution sensor in order to be able to zoom in and crop. Whereas the other one has a much bigger sensor, better resolution, but you don't have to stitch the pixels.
I mean, you find a camera with 40 megapixels. I mean, that thing's almost $4,000. A camera with 40 megapixels. Again, it has other things that you're adding to it.
Yeah, but for me, the biggest thing that I started to notice, because once you have your commercial drone license and stuff, you can fly at night.
Nice flex.
Yeah, well, you know,
I didn't know that was a thing.
Drop.
Oh, I like to drop that in there only because I get really mad at people who steal my business when they don't have a license.
It is badass though. It is cool.
It's one of those things too where it's weird because getting the license is also the most education most people have with them. So it's like, and it's something, I'm not going to say, you know, we in the industry get really annoyed when all of a sudden there's these calls for stricter drone laws because people keep fucking up. Flying in. It's like,
that's me.
The people fucking it up are the people who shouldn't be doing that anyway. It's like the people who have the license are also the only ones who know you're not allowed to fly there. So it's this weird, you'd kind of double the error. But so once I started flying at night, it's like, okay, the sensor size is what's most important because it gives me more light. So to be able to go up to that, I've got actually kind of the view out your window here. There's a bed and breakfast down the street. I did some shots for at night when it was snowy and stuff like that. And to be able to do that at night got really cool.
So, sorry, I keep interrupting you, but with the drone stuff, quick question. Would you say that with this industry of cameras and stuff, would you say you made your most money with your drone?
Absolutely.
How long did it take you to make... Sorry, Tristan, we're kind of going off right now.
You're good. Go for it.
As long as you're soaking it in like a sponge. How long did it take you from the moment you got a drone or the moment you were interested in 2020 where you like this stuff till where you made your first penny?
It's interesting.
That's a hard question.
So there's a couple answers. So one, I used it. I was working at the marina in town at the time. So as long as I was up doing stuff of sailboat races and stuff like that, I would use it on what very limited social media, you know, digital signage and stuff within the marina. So did a little bit of that. I'd make some canvas prints and sell those. And I say that all happened incidentally for legal purposes because I wasn't licensed at that time. And you can make money as long as it's incidental. I took off. My intent was to go have fun, happened to take some cool pictures that people wanted.
Made a quick buck. Yeah.
Then, so about 6 months in, I went and did the whole license thing. And then from there, it was almost immediately because I was able to get in touch with just some people locally who had businesses and properties and things like that. Some realtors I knew, some other people who had different companies. So most of the stuff I've done with it has been, I guess you would call it relatively boring because it's pictures of warehouses and industrial properties.
I think that's cool.
I mean, it's way easier than having to sit down and edit it because they kind of like it pretty blank. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, this is equipment I have. This is stuff that I find fun, to study, to go do the course and the license and take the test because you actually have to go take a proctored test with an FAA instructor and it's a whole thing. But to go do it was super simple. And I was like, do you want me to, touch these up, edit this, move this, change that? And they're like, nope, as is.
That's the best.
And
is when they don't ask for revisions.
The trickiest part of it for me is what do I charge? How do I give them a quote? It's like, I feel bad.
Is 25 too much?
Like I gave him, like I'm breaking it down and you look on YouTube, you look everywhere and the biggest thing everybody says is like, you're going to want to charge less than you have to, but don't do that because it screws over everybody else.
Right, yeah.
You don't want to undercut. And then the other thing that they look at, and this is a whole different story, but when we built the Alaskan Region research vessel here, it was one of the first ships I was ever on. It was 2014.
That's the cursed one, right?
No, that was the Noah.
Oh, okay.
That's a different one. But I did pictures out of a helicopter as it was coming across the bay. So
How'd you just get in a helicopter?
yeah,
Just
stuff
figured it out.
happens.
Okay,
I was working for a different guy at the time, and he actually still does a lot of the shipyard photos. He's one of those who does drone photography without a license.
Yeah. One of those guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's fine. But so the helicopter to go do that is like $850 an hour, plus
Right.
then whatever you're paying the photographer. So when I started to break that down, it's like, okay, these industrial guys are going to get these photos. If they're going to pay someone with a helicopter, it's going to cost them $500-600 a picture.
Right.
So if I'm coming in, I can come in at 25% of that. I'm still making good money. They're saving money. So it's a really weird.
You monopolize the drone industry up here in Wisconsin.
That's what I was just about to ask. Do you have like other competition around here, or are you like the main guy that does it in the area?
So there are. The thing is, I don't do nearly enough of it. That's the crazy part. Is I look at it and I always go, "Geez, I'd love to make money doing this stuff."
Right.
And the answer is, if I just left work an hour earlier than I normally do and did some advertising, I could make a decent amount of money.
Yeah.
There are other people who have license, and that's how I know who's licensed and not licensed, because they're all on the FAA website, and you can search by county, by name, and whatever, and see who has what. It's the same as a pilot's license as far as being able to look them up.
That's pretty sick.
So I can check the county and kind of see how many there are, and there's a reasonable number registered, but a lot of them are really old ones. So like they went and did it back in the day, and then
like when it first came out.
Yeah, and they've changed some laws on what you can do recreationally and not recreationally, and
Right.
it used to be you needed this rig, and that was like, all right, you got a kind of okay picture, but it wasn't perfect. And now you can go up and, like you said, you can take these crazy pictures. I can shoot 5.1K 12-bit color, just gorgeous cinematic videos with it's not a cheap drone, but it's still a consumer one. So I don't know of a ton of people doing it, but
They're out there.
I mean, they're out there.
Yeah.
I just, the trickiest part is I got into it, and one of the primary money-making avenues is real estate. Well, real estate in this area, you can sell a house without a picture. So to try and convince a realtor, it's like, hey, why don't you pay me to take better pictures, throw a gimbal on the camera, do a walkthrough video.
Like for what?
Like all these enhanced things so that your house sells faster.
Yeah.
Like
It's already sold.
I haven't uploaded one shaky iPhone 4 picture yet, and the thing's off the market, so I'm not going to pay you for it. So as that market shifts, I'll probably get back more into it a little bit, just because there will be that customer base there. But yeah, it's strange. It's a weird industry, because a lot of cases in this region, you're trying to sell a product that people didn't know existed and don't know why they want it.
It's hard to sell a product that people don't need, I guess.
And I think once people realize, they want it. And it's like, oh, dude, how did I do this without it? But you have to sell the premise and then sell the product. And it's interesting to do that.
So I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Alex. If money was not a thing, would you be in this creative industry?
I think absolutely. I mean, for me, and I made the joke before we started recording that my hobby is buying this stuff and then not touching it. And I think part of that is a weird ADHD, like, all right, I bought a drone. I learned how to do cool stuff with a drone. On to the next challenge. Yep. And there's still a little bit of that. Like, once I feel as though I've not mastered it, but like I'm proficient. Like if somebody says, hey, can you do drone photography pretty well? It's like, yeah. And once I can answer that question, all right, now I got to find a new challenge.
Right.
So, but eventually it would be nice to be able to settle in and do it. Like I said beforehand, like this right here. And obviously we're talking a lot about that type of stuff, but
like podcasting,
doing whatever. And this feels very, like I'm giving you my resume, but even outside of that, just to do what the real goal of this is to just sit here and bullshit and have stupid conversations about dumb stuff.
Hopefully one day I have enough money to hire you. And now I have the resume on record.
I mean, this is true. This is fun for me. And like I said, I used to do the hockey broadcasting, the play-by-play, the stuff like that. And I traveled around the region and did some really cool stuff, some national competitions for that for bigger companies. And that to me is a ton of fun. Short answer, I like to talk, if that's not evident. So anytime
that's why you're here.
Anytime I can put a microphone in front of my face and start going is a lot of fun for me.
Maybe,
and that's what I love to do.
You never know. In 1 year, maybe I can hire you as my drone photographer. And we can do podcasts and drone all day long.
Podcast, drone. I'll bring a handheld. It's always nice to have a second shooter.
Right.
You never know when you need it.
I have been putting feelers out in Charleston trying to find Because eventually, well, it's gonna happen. I'm telling you right now, like just to be positive, I'm gonna make money on YouTube, whether it's full time or not.
Yeah, love that
But
attitude.
eventually, I'm gonna need someone to record me, and then I'm gonna need someone to shoot photos, a drone guy, a video editor. So I've already been putting some feelers out, and I think I just found my drone pilot.
Yeah, the drones. I mean, the drone stuff is wild. I gotta look. One thing I really want to look into is what I know FPV is prohibited in Italy,
Really?
but I want to see.
Why is that?
So FPV is first person. So you put the goggles on, you fly, you look like you're flying.
Have you seen that footage?
No, I had no idea what that acronym was.
I'll pull something up on the new handy dandy recording screen.
It's a ton of fun. I'm not phenomenal at it, but the biggest issue with it is in FAA law for drones, and again, I'm going to get sucked into being technical, which is probably not entertaining to anybody.
Oh, go for it.
Requires you to maintain visual line of sight to the drone. So you have to be able to make eye contact.
That's in Italy?
Oh,
That's even in the U.S.
you have to be able to see your drone.
You have to be able to see
if you're flying it.
So how the hell do you do that if you have a VR headset on?
Exactly. So you can have,
All right.
you can have in FAA and U.S. law, you can have what's called a designated observer, and as long as you have constant verbal contact with them. So if you're doing commercial operations, you can actually have that guy have a radio and be, down the line a little bit.
I got
and as
you.
long as
I
you
got
have
you.
a positive handoff with that.
How can that even be regulated? Do they have like a drone police where they look for people that don't have
So
eye
at the beginning
contact?
of COVID, when they when the FAA was working from home, they did a lot of YouTube policing. So they were going through and actually hitting up a lot of people, and they're like, "Hey, this is a YouTube channel where you're making money. You can't be using the drone without a license." So like even people who just do, basic, general YouTube videos like a travel vlog, and all they're using is the drone footage as a transition. Okay, you took that drone with the intent to put it in a YouTube video that you make money off of. You need to be a licensed drone pilot for
So they're
that.
cracking down on it.
They're getting better. They just implemented, I believe, at the beginning of this year, and I won't say too much because I don't want to talk about stuff I don't know, but they've started to do what they call remote ID. So they can actually, you register the drone to the pilot, to the flyer, so that they can track where things are. Which, again, is one of those things that sounds sucky, but if you know what you're doing and you're not one of the people going where you shouldn't be,
Keep talking. I'm going to reset the camera.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
If you're not going where you shouldn't be, it's nice to have that there, because now, like, the good ones won't, you can't even fly into places that you're not supposed to. And weirdly enough, they call it, they define visual line of sight as 1,650 feet. So you can't be like, no, my eyes are really good. I can see it at a mile out. 1,650, which is nothing when you consider.
So even if you are doing FPV and he's on the radio, it's 1,600 or
so
1,650.
1,650 feet from the visual observer. So So like, say you're doing commercial stuff and you're inspecting power lines.
Right.
Here he's
1,650 feet at the
or a little over
max.
3,200, because I can watch it to 1,650 and he can pick it up at 1,650, and then he can go the next 1,650.
Loophole.
You can kind of do that thing with it.
Nice,
so like you can get away with that. So like FPV, technically, if you're flying FPV, you got to have a visual observer next to you. People have done stuff like using blow up dolls in the car next to them, almost like when they try to trick fucking
That's genius.
carpool lanes.
Right.
It's tricky, but so for that reason, in Italy they don't allow it at all. But I want to figure out what they allow as far as foreign pilots for when I go over there.
I'd
months.
probably check that in case until you get like arrested for fucking flying a drone or something. Tristan, so you see how this is like real smooth?
Yeah.
This is like a normal, I guess not a normal drone, but like a cinematic drone, I guess would be the word I'm looking for.
So they'll call it a cinematic or like a GPS drone.
It's meant for like the smooth videos, and then this is an FPV drone. So you see how it's like.
All right, this guy's definitely
See how it's like first person?
way further than a quarter mile away.
There's some crazy ones.
But yeah, no, like dives and stuff are a lot of fun. We live in a pretty flat area, so that's tough. But like,
See like that.
to be able to do the dives and do the crazy stuff like that's a lot of fun.
So-
and you're watching it in goggles, so it's all
I was
right
gonna
there.
say.
The trickiest part is
Okay.
not falling over.
I think we found a better reason to go to Iceland, Quentin.
Oh yeah, we really want to go to Iceland, and we were like dead ass thinking about it. and you should come.
Yeah,
We'll make a video out of it.
We were supposed to
that's
go
a big-
this month.
That's a big fuck yeah.
Dude, we found it. We found a round trip for like $450.
Yeah, super cheap.
And that included
That's us with us being there for a week.
for a week, for 7 days. I mean, you're not staying in like some fucking.
And it's a
you know,
super tiny
you don't
plane.
you don't go to Iceland to sit in the hotel. You go to Iceland so that
Right.
you can
Yeah,
hike
we're
out into
exploring the whole day.
So look,
I
see
don't
that,
know.
7 days
Tristan?
straight.
See, they put these fucking goggles on, so it's literally VR. You're flying fucking VR.
Dude, that is
Yeah.
awesome.
It's hard.
So it used to just be
It's like a first-person video game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the new
Sick.
DJI one is interesting because it'll actually do head tracking. So like they have a little motion controller that's like a stick with a trigger for the throttle,
Really?
and it'll track your head up, down, left, right. So it is almost more true VR, whereas the old ones were just kind of it was just a full field of view, but you never turned, and that was always the thing when people would try it for the first time is, you're leaning trying to
yeah,
dodge
dude,
stuff,
that was-
and it's like that's never gonna work.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, if you learn to do this on an FPV drone, because I already trust your normal drone system.
This, as awesome as this looks, this is easy.
You're hired.
I mean, this is.
Dude, you're hired.
This is the
Not even
easy
kidding.
style of stuff to do with FPV.
How much
'cause
you get paid? I'll match it. You're literally hired.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. Like,
How
why,
much
are
I
you,
get paid?
why are you even still at the shipyard? I feel like you can make so much more doing all this drone shit.
Because I'm reluctant to move, and
Fair enough.
that's the other
Fair
problem
enough.
is I don't dislike what I do in the shipyard right now.
Dude, I totally
Yeah,
agree with that. It's
I'm
not
so
that I don't
sick
like
of it.
engineering. It's just that at some point I will be tired of it. But like with this shit here, I'll never be tired of this.
No,
ever.
and this is and this is something that again is ever expanding. There's always a next thing. What's
Right.
the next thing? And that's is it this camera? Is it that camera? Is it you go buy a gimbal and you start to do stuff like that? Is it okay, now we're gonna do action stuff with 360 cameras? Is it we're gonna do FPV flying? But yeah, and I say this is easy. It's not easy because
Right.
with anything to do it well is easy enough, and then to do it at a professional level is whatever. But this is what they would refer to as like a cinematic FPV. So we're doing dives and stuff.
the fuck?
The lower to the ground and the closer to stuff we get, the more challenging it is. So like you'll see guys who do freestyle and it's not smooth. It's impressive.
Is this
from-
shit
That's
sped up?
beautiful.
No.
No, those things
It's
go
real
fast
time?
as fuck, dude.
Yeah, I got one. So legally, again, this is legally the fastest
flying.
you can go is 99 miles an hour.
Why 99?
Don't know.
Not
under
100
under
though?
100. I have one that is listed at going 89 is what they tell me. I put some new props on it. With the wind, we can get up to about 104.
shit.
It'll do 0 to 60 in like 2.2. It's wild, and it's not a racing one. It's heavy as hell. You do some damage if
Oh,
ever you
I've
hit
watched some
anything.
of those drone races. Those things are crazy too.
Yeah, so that's a different style entirely. And that
Yeah.
gets closer to kind of like people who do freestyle, and they're like, doing barrel rolls through monkey bars and shit like
yeah,
that.
I've seen that shit. That
And
shit
that's
looks hard.
impressive, and it's cool to watch. To me, I like the cinematic shit. I like the dives. I like the cliffs. I like running along the water. Actually, if you pull up,
I don't know why that's smart. He's sitting on a cliff with a fucking headset on.
Yeah, if you pull up my YouTube,
Yes.
yeah, I'll do this. A little shameless plug here.
I haven't seen Brock's YouTube.
Yeah, there's not a
I've got
ton
big
there.
expectations.
Tucker Andrew. Thanks
Shout
for the
out.
sub, brother. He's not listening,
There
but
shouldn't be a,
He's listening live right now.
there shouldn't be a ton of oh shit, that's right. There's another athlete now who, I think it,
Someone else has
yeah,
got
it's
your
that one. So I
alias.
throw in there that I'm a 14 CFR Part 107 licensed pilot, just so nobody asks the question.
You gotta have that in your
Boom.
description.
Sweet.
I can't believe I didn't sub back. You subbed to me. That's kind of fucked on my part.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
dude.
fine. You didn't follow me back on
Cold.
Instagram either. I'm not mad.
Cold.
Wow.
He doesn't follow
I
anyone.
don't follow anybody.
Purely business.
Purely business.
Yeah, you got to keep that ratio.
Yeah. I'll get on that after this, but go ahead. Go ahead.
So I don't take this seriously enough, and like we were talking about before, my titles are dog shit. So I don't drive a lot of subscribers. But if you go down a little bit, any of the like the poker run there's one that's called Go Fast
at
Boat
these.
stuff that I use the FPV drone on, and that's a lot of.
So you
like
have
that
an
one there.
FPV drone.
I have 3 of them.
Damn, Brock, you need to start uploading more again.
Yeah, I know.
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm not even kidding you. The second, like this is, like I'm not even being funny. The second I'm making like good money and I need a drone pilot, you're first on my list.
Sweet.
I'm dead
always
ass.
in. It's
I
like-
am dead fucking ass. I'm not kidding.
So the biggest thing with this is like, I just need an excuse to use it. That's always the big thing. Is like it's that what are you gonna go do? So like,
Right.
So this, I'll admit, is a little older, and I'm using the camera that was in the DJI FPV drone that is notably not the best. So a lot of people strap a GoPro to it, or I'll actually have the DJI Action 2. If you fast forward in that one, it gets a little better.
What were the numbers on the end of your name again?
I have no idea.
You got to put them in the description of this podcast. For sure.
I know, that's what I was thinking. Brock Jersey 6351.
Yeah, I don't know why that's there.
I can't wait till the day I say that and you get like 10,000 fucking subs. It's gonna be awesome.
that Rogan bump,
right? Yeah. But this looks awesome, dude. I mean, this is fucking.
This was interesting. This was just a clearer year, but so this year I'm just using. I think this was the. No, this is with the FPV one, because some of these boats will do 100.
Boats also nice.
There was a Lamborghini one that came in one year for this poker run that they do that'll do about 155. It's all Lamborghini branded. There's a matching car for it. But yeah, so this stuff is a ton of fun. This is just seeing how fast it can go is basically where this is a good time.
Were you, I don't know how it worked with the FPV drones, but were you, wait, look at that transition there, baby.
Oh yeah. Nothing like the stock spin on there.
Yeah. Were you able to? Did you take off from your hand? Like, do you throw it up and take it off? Because I never got good enough to do it.
So the FPV ones, I don't love to do that just because I'm gonna have the goggles on,
right?
And I don't feel like losing a finger. The other ones I will, and the other ones I'll hand catch sometime. I almost lost a finger in the Mavic 3. I had gloves on though. I was filming a guy. I was on the boat with him fishing.
Yeah.
So I was trying to catch it from the bow of the boat as we were bouncing.
Oh, your finger almost fucking banged.
And I went, and the problem is the stupid sensors. The anti-collision sensors, the second your hand starts to get close, it starts to go away. So it's almost like trying to catch a rabbit. You got to sneak up on it. It tries to jump away from you. So I snuck up on it. I jumped it. My finger went too far, and it just hit the tip of the glove, and I caught it. And then the way the sensors are set up, if you flip them over really fast, they turn off.
Oh, really?
So because like it thinks that it flipped over, like that it crashed.
Oh.
So you grab it and you spin it, and it shuts her down.
You're good to go. It keeps flying and it like takes you up with it like you're holding onto a fucking balloon into the sky.
And like as I'm trying to pull it down, it's fighting because it's trying to compensate and maintain altitude. And I mean, the Mavic 3's got like something like 3 kilograms of lift per rotor. So like it starts to go away from you unless you really crank on it quick.
Tristan, is the kratom hitting you?
No.
It is, isn't it?
No, I honestly don't even really feel it. I have a lot of brain fog going on right now, to be honest.
It's rough.
Is it the sick or the
I think
K,
it's the sick, dude.
What's going on over there?
It's the sick.
You're actually quiet today.
Yeah, Brock's a little chatterbox, and I don't have as much input on the subject as you guys do. But I've got a noob question for you, Brock.
Okay, yeah.
It seems like you're super far away from your drone right now. Like, how far away can you get?
Yeah, we're not going to answer that question for legal reasons.
For legal reasons, I plead the fifth.
Yeah, true.
For legal reasons, it's I am...
Theoretically, how far away can your drone get from you?
I'm 1,650 feet away from a drone. In that instance right there, that's about a mile away from the shore.
Damn.
Interesting how that works.
How far away can it go before it like loses connection from your controller, if that's even how that works?
So this specific one is rated for right around 10 kilometers, so 7.5-ish miles.
So why do they even make it so they can go that far if the regulations
prohibit that? Different countries. And also, like, again, if you daisy chain your visual observers, you can get away with it.
Okay.
But like the bad part about this one is going this fast, I only have about 6 to 8 minutes of battery life.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit. And this boat was fast, and they came in, and I was flying the Mavic Air 2. And they're like, how fast can you go? I'm like, 42. So they hovered around 42, and then one of them like knew they were doing it, and they like waved at me and put the hammer down, not realizing it was a different one. So I passed them doing about 91.
Holy shit.
And then turned around and came back. But doing 80 miles an hour straight away,
there you go.
You get pretty far away pretty fast.
Yeah, dude.
And then like the Mavic 3, I think, is at 12 kilometer range. So doing sailboats and stuff, and that one gets the girl on this boat was kind of cute. Anyway, this is 3 years ago. I still remember some things.
Girl on the boat, if you are listening to this.
Yeah, just like, I don't know where she was from. It's just like a slight southern accent, like just enough.
Oh, so she wasn't from up here?
I apparently not. Either that or she was just playing a character. Don't know how she knew that was a good idea. but it was. And so they're doing, I want to say they're doing about 77 right here when I pull away. And I'd love to stay with them, but you start to run out of range. Yeah. But the Mavic 3 I got about 46 minutes on is what it's rated for. So I've had it up for almost 40. And that one I've been about 3.5 miles away without any issue.
So what's really cool, Tristan, is, and anybody listening, but yeah, I got you, is... So like if you fly your drone in a straight line, it'll nice catch.
Slick. Real slick.
If you drive your drone in a straight line, it'll recognize the battery and the length to get back to you. And if you run low on battery, it'll actually stop and fly back to you. It'll return home and land where it took off, like on its own, like an autopilot.
Yeah, so the old ones did it at like 30% battery no matter what. The Mavic 3 will actually do like smart mapping now. So they so the automatic return to home used to be go straight up to an elevation, go straight over and straight down. The Mavic 3 will now actually use its sensors to kind of guide itself back in.
Now that's cool because mine doesn't do that.
Yeah, no, that's a new one on there. I haven't had the balls to really test that out yet. And so it's interesting because it's supposed to also use that to kind of find the optimal route back. That one's actually the 100-miler one there is kind of cool. The colors turned out really nice in that. That was one of the first ones.
That's what I need to work on is my color grade and my audio. I need to work on everything. Actually.
Color grading is one of those things that I always looked at. It's like I like how it looks out of the drone. And like I'll still like I've had people watch me while I do it, and they're like, I pull up the video, just I'll turn the grade off, and I'll be like, so how does this look straight out of the camera? And they'll be like, oh, that looks really cool, and then I'll turn it on, and they're like, oh no, that's better. Yeah. It's like, and now and then you turn it back off, it's like, oh well, this looks like shit now.
Yeah,
it's like it's all desaturated, it's all pale, especially stuff like this when I'll shoot it in log and it's just really really dry.
Look at that, fucking gorgeous.
But yeah, I mean, it is one of those things that's an art form that you start to appreciate a lot more as you get into it.
So let's segue here. So you left college junior year?
Yeah,
like midway through junior.
I stayed until the end of the junior year.
But mentally,
yeah, we checked out.
Pretty
Lights
early
on.
No one's home.
We got real good at Fortnite for a couple months.
Yeah?
Before it got completely taken over by the children.
Dude, Tristan, we're gonna run a game of Fortnite, and we're gonna stream it live. Actually, I just came up with that.
Ooh, I like that.
I'm horrible. I've played Fortnite 3 times in my life.
So I played way back when.
Yeah.
The game is unrecognizable to me now.
Really?
My only streaming experience is Farm Simulator.
Yeah. I saw that. That was funny as fuck, dude.
Which one?
Farm Simulator. You said some joke. Dude, we were listening to it on the way to Windjammer because I was telling Tristan
is it still up on Twitch?
No, I think it's on YouTube.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Was it Farm Sim or was it the lawn mowing sim one?
The lawn mowing sim.
Because there's one I did.
Lawn mowing sim.
I did a lawn mowing sim one, and I just had the drone follow me, and then I did it like I was streaming,
Like
but
streaming.
It was actually just me mowing
that was
my
funny
front yard.
As hell. Yeah.
But I actually did Twitch stream for Farm Sim. I did like 4 hours one night.
Yeah.
I made the joke that it was sponsored by Bud Light Seltzer.
Yeah.
And we went through about, I think, 8 Black Cherry Bud Light Seltzers just playing Farm Sim 13. It was not even the newest version. And then the only other streaming I did was Fall Guys.
Really?
So I did like a 6-hour Fall Guys stream one time. I'm like, I'm doing this until I win. And then it got to the 6-hour mark. And I'm like,
no.
Yeah, it's not fucking happening.
What?
Were you screaming my name?
I was.
Yeah.
I was saying he played Fortnite a lot back in the day. And so did you. So what I'm saying is I was like, we're gonna play Fortnite together.
Let's go.
Yeah, they still got trios.
And then we're gonna we're gonna stream that shit. Even though I'm awful.
Dude, let's do it.
Dude, what we could do is we could literally all just fucking set up in here, and we won't even need mics. We just talk to each other, and then we'll just put a camera in front of us, and we'll just fucking get hammered and be idiots.
I am down. No build is the move nowadays, so Brock.
Can you even build anymore? Did they get rid of that?
There's 2 different modes you can play now.
See,
for a little bit, there was no building at all for like a week.
See, I was a dog shit
you guys
builder.
are talking about Fortnite, I'm gonna take a piss.
Yeah, so I was a dog shit builder, and I was playing on PlayStation 4 back in the day.
Yeah.
And the weird part, it wasn't mine; it was my roommate's. So I didn't have one, and it was a different friend of mine, and all kinds of weird stuff. So I'm like, all right, I'll play this game. Everybody's on it; it's free, cool.
Right.
And then yeah, that kind of sucked me in a little bit. That and Battlefield 3. That was
Battlefield 3? Nice. I was a COD guy back in the day.
See, I loved back when I was still playing hockey in high school, we'd pack, the whole team in the basement, throw the projector up on the wall and do, 4-player split screen.
Nuketown.
No, this was Rust. This was back in the Rust days. This was
the
Modern Warfare 2,
days.
knife only, Rust.
God.
You had to mix it up after like 3 hours. It's like, okay, we get it. This one kid's better. We're just going to do only throwing
Literally.
knives.
I know. I remember those days.
That and Halo 3. Or
That
Halo
was
4. Halo. I don't know.
Halo 2. That was me and my friend group back in elementary school.
Halo 2
Middle school.
was the dubstep remixes of the Halo 2 theme.
I don't think I've ever seen one. I feel like we might have to pull that up next.
And not even, I shouldn't even say dubstep, but just like the bass nectar style ones.
Some trap remix, if you will.
And there's people who do like metal covers of it, but the Halo 2 theme song
Oh, God.
probably belongs on more pump up lists.
One of the most nostalgic gaming soundtracks of all time.
I mean, it is fantastic. And I think there's a lot of people who don't game who still know where it's from.
Yeah, for sure. It kind of sounds like a church song.
Yeah. Yeah, is it Halo 2 the one that kind of gets going though? Halo 3 was really choral.
Oh yeah, Q knows.
See, I think that was
Something like that.
I think that was 3. I'm pretty sure 2.
I couldn't tell you. I just made a bunch of noises.
No, I mean, well,
Oh, spot on.
odd that you nailed it.
Actually?
Yeah.
Are you fucking with me?
No, that's a great one. That's the one where old school YouTube, you got a lot of videos of guys doing it in the boys' locker room because you get the echo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
I think I
perfect.
have a video of that.
Yeah, that and
That's how I
Elton
know it, I
John's
think.
for the longest time is a personal favorite.
So, since you're talking about streaming, I know Tristan wants to be a streamer, and I've been telling
I'm
him.
considering starting.
I've been telling him the same way I started the podcast, where you just literally fucking pull the trigger and go. You got to start like tomorrow. Actually, it's the new year, and you were supposed to be started already. So now you're
Yeah,
in trouble.
no. I need to buy a PC though now.
Okay, well now I feel bad. So
'Cause
you can start with
it's
you
too
want.
hard to do with a fucking PlayStation and try to get a face cam and view
Yeah.
my TV.
Well, you could do PlayStation, but you would.
So
That's
I
a
got one
lot
in the
of-
bag, just a
A
capture
PlayStation?
card. So you go
Oh.
HDMI into that, and then there's an HDMI out that goes to the TV, and then there's a USB out that goes
Dude,
to the computer.
this is the guy you need to talk to
Dude,
because
this-
he'll set it up real
Getting those
quick.
all
He'll
this
tell you
shit.
exactly what you need to buy.
Yeah, most of it's here. But yeah, so it's not that hard to do it off a PlayStation. And actually, depending on how much you want to make the PC grunt, it's kind of nice to not stream off of the same one you're playing with, because then you're not chewing up
Yeah.
processor power and everything right
That's
on
a
that
good
same
point.
unit.
Dude, you need to start. The only thing that's really that expensive is the PC.
Right.
Everything else, I mean, you could just get a webcam for like $20.
Yeah.
1080p. Gets fucked.
Actually, what one of my first webcams I used was, and
Yeah.
I don't know if you're an iPhone or an Android guy.
I've got an iPhone. I don't discriminate against Androids. Just
No
what I'm used
discrimination
to.
here.
And I'm sure there's an equivalent for iPhone, but there was one, it was called Droid Cam, and you could set it up real easy if you were on the same Wi-Fi network, and it would use the phone's camera as a wireless webcam, or you could plug it in
Okay.
via USB. But I remember did that. I'm like, all right, well, kind of the nicest portable camera I have in the house is an old, Galaxy 5S. We'll just
Right.
slap that up in a little clamp. That's a nice, easy cam that I can port into OBS, and away we go.
I was in
And
the
away we
bathroom when you guys were talking about this, but you said you were streaming for a little bit.
Yeah, I did some Farm Sim 13 and a
Were
couple
you
of,
actually into that game, or was it for the memes?
no. So
Yes. Both.
This is one of those weird areas where I will defend Farm Sim.
I like weird.
I have 13, 19, and 22. I've been trying to get playing it a little bit. It is the most weirdly addicting and therapeutic experience
Is
that
it
I have.
actually?
Like, it's one of those things where I can sit down and play, like, once you get going, because it's this weird, there's so much. I mean, I think I played the mobile one first, and it's like, oh, it's pretty easy. We're gonna drive the tractor back and forth. Now, like in 22, you build a greenhouse on the side, or I'm gonna set up some solar panels on that property. And okay, I got my sheep, so I'm gonna build a spinning mill. Like, you start production chains. It's wild.
Jeez.
And like, you
My
do seasons.
God.
I think you can do a snow removal now. So like in the winter when the crops aren't growing, you can get snow removal contracts.
Right.
There was one guy I saw who was playing with either some DLC or some expansion, and like one of the things. He had like excavators and stuff.
I
And he
didn't know
was
this
going to
game
go
was
do
that popular.
road
Was this
construction.
advanced.
Yeah.
It's-
DLCs for that game? That's
it's
funny.
insane. And the people who do the modding are nuts. But I do legitimately really enjoy it. And I'll use the nice
Wow.
Logitech racing wheels sometimes to drive the tractor, which is nice.
Are you still into gaming?
Not as much as I used to be. I say the biggest problem I have with gaming and doing any of this stuff is I'm normally at work until like 7 o'clock these days, and by the time I get home, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna
Time for bed already.
just gonna spin around and go back to it.
I'll say, dude, it's fucking hard, man. Like this, I hate saying this because this is kind of like a little flex, but like, dude, it sucks. Like working, like if you want to do something like this, like for the rest of your life, but you have to also pay the bills. Working 50 hours a week and then coming home and then working another 4 hours a week to make a video or to stream, like, shit ain't fucking easy. Shit sucks.
You need a personal life too.
Yeah,
And
and
a
then you gotta
social
work
life.
out, and then you need a personal life. Like, there is, like, you have to give up on sleep, man.
We're watching some Farming Simulator.
We're watching Farm Sim.
Why,
I mean,
why does this
it's-
look like GTA
This is
right
live,
now?
too.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy when people start getting into it. I mean, he's got some crazy stuff going on. He's helped me start my brand new farm, and he's rolling around with that. I think not.
Oh my god,
Dude,
this
it
is
is-
like
it-
GTA.
It is so. I'm so glad that.
Is this like a big open world?
Yeah, no, it's a limited
Or do you,
map,
start
more or
with
less.
your like own little property and you just expand from there.
Yeah, so every numbered field there is something that he could buy to farm, and then like all the green space if he wanted to purchase it. So when I was playing Farm Sim 13, I had one where I bought a bunch of green space and planted trees, and my primary source of income was logging, which I found way more fun than farming. But I had some
like
pretty.
real
I
life.
kind of want to play this shit.
I mean, it is a good
Set
time.
the stream up, baby.
You want to do some streaming stuff? The multiplayer for Farm Sim is actually
Oh, there is
pretty
multiplayer
good.
for
Oh
this?
yeah.
I thought there was no way there was.
No,
you-
there's multiplayer. People who do multiplayer start like mega farms.
What do you play on?
PC.
You should all get it.
When you first brought up this game,
computer can handle it.
I thought
Yeah,
this was like that one Hey something game that used to be like on the iPhone. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, this is wild, and they get like licensed with everything. So like John Deere, Disfar, all these
Holy shit, Slade.
implement companies will
it cost
license
money?
their products. Yeah.
How much? How much
Yeah,
we talking?
I don't know. Like, I think if you wanted to go back and buy 13,
Yeah.
it's probably not too bad. And if you're going to try and run it on a laptop, I would
gotta
advise
get it on
that.
Steam.
Yeah.
Get this on PlayStation.
Yeah.
But
They
I'm,
make
I'm
they
assuming
make
it's not cross-pat
I
platform.
don't know how
yeah.
that works. Because like the PC stuff,
$88.
like
Whoa.
is that for like Platinum Edition
Oh,
22?
Platinum's 60.
It's interesting.
Farming
I was gonna
Simulator
say,
22 year one bundles 88.
Thought inflation
Yeah,
was the only thing I didn't
That's
touch
gotta
video
be,
games.
What are they getting for
I
like
think
Farm
it's
Sim?
per year though.
Yeah, well that's like a bunch of DLC for it, probably packaged. What are they getting for 19? Because 19 was a solid game too.
Oh my god! So 22 means there's 22 Farm Sim games.
It's years. So it's
So this is like NCAA 06.
kinda. They used to only come out on the odd years. I
This
think
is
COVID
legit
made a
as
delay.
Fuck.
But yeah, so I have 13, 19, and 22.
How's 22? Okay,
20
so if you get the disc for PS4, it's $40. It's not bad.
Yeah, so I'll be honest, I think 13 is still my favorite because it's
I can't even find it.
22 is like super. For me, it's almost too complicated where like I can't just sit down and play for a little bit. If I'm going to sit down, I'm going to be there for a couple hours. And depending on how into it you want to get.
Dude, I'm sorry, but this gets me hyped up. I got the K flowing. You need to sit down. Get over here. I got the K flowing. I'm having a good time. I have a bad feeling this podcast is going to go a very long time because it's already an hour.
Good combo.
And I feel like it's been 10 minutes. But, dude, we need to, outside of work, we just need to pump out content.
Yeah,
we need
this-
to be hanging out every single day, recording podcasts, streaming, and making videos.
Yep. Next week we're gonna react to The Bachelor.
Oh my God, I forgot we
don't
have The
even get me started on
Bachelor.
that.
We have The Bachelor next week, baby.
So a couple things with that. One, absolutely. So you mentioned that you need to be able to balance work, content, and social.
I will give up
If you-
work for doing this.
Well, yeah, but
Let's
now
live
here's
stream
the really
the first
cool thing.
episode.
If you do this right,
yeah.
this is social.
Yeah.
This is the most
True.
social.
Okay.
This is the most social interaction I've had
Yeah.
in months.
And these are the only people, I mean, now that Luke's gone, and like this is really the only people I talk to. Here.
I mean, I see you at work.
Yeah.
I joke at work that, and it's not true that I see Mike more than
know
any
how
other
much this
human.
is. I think you do.
Oh, it's not even close.
I was gonna say, I think you do see him more.
I'm there about 60 to 65 hours a week. He's there probably about the same.
We're gonna keep this stream light.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
I wish I could.
I forget what I was saying about Farm Sim.
Next step is getting that audio into our microphones as well, or
Well,
into
I
our
can.
headset.
Yeah, you can. The problem is then now we're putting his audio on the YouTube too, so you gotta be careful there.
True.
This might blow your ears, so prepare yourself.
So what I'll say about running
nice.
Farm Sim on a laptop
Pretty cool, huh?
is
Got
the biggest thing I notice is like graphics, obviously. So it's kind of funny when you go in the graphics settings, one of the things you can control is like, do you want your rear view mirrors to be functional while you're in the cab? And it'll be like 1 mirror, 2 mirror. Like, you always have your high, medium, low. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, or all mirrors rendered.
It's just crazy because watching this, when you talk about like Farm Sim, I would think it's like a game that like there's a very, very like little niche for it, and it's still like, but like this is high def, legit with the fucking speedometer, rear view mirrors. Like this is not just a niche. This is a lot of people that play this fucking game.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you really want to dig into this a little, if you want to go to it, I mean, this guy, nothing against his stream, but like he's doing
1.5 million subscribers. Okay,
but he's doing it live. If you go to some where people do like, you bounce around, you get to start to see like the scale of some of these farms. It's wild. So like,
oh shit, it's
is this a randomly generated map, or is it the same for everyone that starts?
There's a handful of different maps that you can select from. Some are easier, some are kind of mountainous. There's a ton of DLC ones, and then there's people who like mod it out. Like it's now part of my algorithm in like Instagram Reels and TikTok.
Yeah,
and stuff.
that's
I see
funny.
a lot of FS 2022.
That's funny.
But like, it's whatever reason, like the first thing that people do when they mod it out is take the John Deere Gator and give it enough horsepower to pull like 18 semi trailers. So like that's always their big hauler out on the road is a Gator pulling a massive semi trailer doing 90.
Do you have the chapstick?
Oh yeah, here.
But like,
I kind of fucked it up because I was scratching it off of it, so I didn't put my lips on it, so I don't give you the vid.
Not the vid, dude. But no, actually, we should just start pumping content out. Like you need to start streaming. You need to start. Oh, this is what I was gonna ask you. So like, the creator. Anyway, creator content world is so big. Like there's so many things you can do. You can be a YouTuber. You could be a photographer, freelance photographer. Like what would you be at the moment? Because mine changes all the time. What would be your top like thing you'd want? Like would you want to be a Twitch streamer? Would you want to take product photos for companies? Would you want to do drone? Like what would be your top thing? What would you want to do in this content world?
see, that's tricky. Like honestly, and it sounds stupid, but this is probably my favorite, is having conversations with people. Like the Twitch streaming thing is fun, but my attention span for video games only lasts so long. And while I'm streaming, it's longer because I feel like I'm engaging with people. I can talk. I can, I'll drop into people who know me always joke that there is a radio voice that kind of comes out at sometimes, and I'll drop into that while I'm doing it. The play-by-play one is the play-by-play one is even worse because that's built for doing talking fast. But like, so like that's the whole. I don't mind that, but like this is where I'd rather be. Is doing.
I think
a
it is for me too. Although I do love YouTube, but like if I could record 4 podcasts in a week, I would do it. I would record for hours, dude, and just pump out. Like conversations like this, once you get good at it, like these start coming out all the time, and this is awesome.
And I think the tricky part in that becomes, okay, so if you're cranking out 4 a week, obviously you're going to do it with different people and different stuff, but you have to do it consistently enough that you have a rapport that you're constantly pumping it out, and then also continue to have enough experiences outside of it to still have a conversation.
Right.
Like if we could sit here for 24 hours and it'd be a really interesting 24 hours, and then it's like, all right, okay, I've already told that story. Like start to lose steam. So you gotta, I don't know. True. That's always been my fear with it, is like, how do you make it over that hump? And I think we were talking the other day at work. It's like, I think like 90% of podcasts fail after episode 2. It's kind of like bars in year 1. It's just tough to get to it. Ooh, he's got the electric tractor out now.
He's fucking flying on that thing. Holy shit.
So this is the same farm that I'm running in mine right now. The electric tractor comes with it, and I kind of laughed at first, but it is nice. I'm a big fan.
Dude, I have no idea.
It's another one of those weird things where once I get into it, it's like, okay, now I'm mildly obsessed with it and I have to learn.
I feel like I could easily get obsessed with this game.
It is.
I see the little. What's up with the little question marks in the ground? Are those power ups or just an unknown place?
So those are like little hint items. So like some of them are
shit.
just like, hey, remember you can do this. So like I think that little question mark there. I don't know. So like my farm right now is pretty small. I got one field grown wheat. I got one that I'm just growing grass in, and then I'll go cut that grass and feed it to the cows.
So as an experienced farming simulator game, does this guy seem like a pro, or is this his first playthrough?
So he's doing pretty well. It's tough, and my issue always is I kind of leverage myself to the hilt, and I loan a shitload of money because I want to get her rocking and rolling.
Loan a shit ton of money. Okay. You just got 1 star.
Oh, it's gonna fuck that person up. What the fuck are those people doing walking around at nighttime?
Yeah, I don't know. It's 6 a.m.
Yeah.
I've never played this game. Hell no.
No. So at some point here, we'll have to have you guys over to my setup, and we'll crank up the farm sim.
Dude, I'm down
with the wheel.
Oh wait, real quick. So when you said you put a down payment on your house, you bought it?
Yeah. I bought that. That was kind of what I felt I had to do. So no, it was a great time, and I always joke that I got super fucking lucky because so I bought it January 2020. A month and a half later, fucking COVID shut everything down. I kept working. My parents, who live not that far away, my brother had to come home from school. They were off all the time, so I had a full-time workforce to remodel my house.
True. You told me about that.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. It put me about 9 months ahead of schedule. It was
What
awesome.
did your parents think when you were like, "Hey, I'm not going back to college"?
As well as things are going, I think my mom will still ask me at least once or twice a year, like, "So you ever think about going back for something?" It's like, if I went back for something, it wouldn't be engineering.
Right.
So it's like I'd start all over, and then it's like, okay, what would I want to do?
Yeah.
And it's this. It's like, okay, so yeah, could I go do a sports media thing? It's like, sure.
Something that you're actually like, you want to go to class for, and it's not to get the paper, it's for the education.
And then I look at it as like, okay, and that's the tricky part about this creative world, which is where I'd want to be, is okay, whether I have a degree or not, there's no guarantee. And there's just as many people successful in it without it as with it.
Most of them.
So would the move then be to go to school for it, or to do like you were just talking about and, say, all right, I'm not sleeping for a year and put in the grind to get yourself there. And that's kind of the issue that I come back to when anybody asks about it. So my mom still would like me to go back. I think my dad from the beginning, he's like, hey, you can make it work, go get your, if you can get a job and do what you want to do, great. Yeah. Fine. Roll with it.
Knock it out, baby.
And it's worked out probably better than I could have hoped at this point. I really like what I do now. I was stuck in a cubicle for about 3 years. Yeah. That was less fun. I was able to do, we've talked about how my YouTube kind of stagnated a little bit when I was stuck in the cubicle, bored out of my mind. I could, remote desktop and do some video editing during the day. I don't have that kind of time now.
Do you know how he does that? So everything's blocked? Well, Google has a remote desktop. So if you sign in on both computers, you can remote to your home computer, which nothing's blocked. So it's just screen capturing your home computer. It's fucking genius.
That is genius.
I can edit videos.
You weren't sketched out at all when you did that?
Huh?
You weren't worried of IT catching you doing that or anything?
I don't know how they have it.
It's the easiest thing in the world for them to block.
They have drive block.
They have drive block. They have
not.
So and that's the other thing is I used to be able to transfer photos back.
Yeah.
I used to be able to transfer stuff back and forth. I can't even get into my Microsoft OneDrive. Well, now we have government OneDrive. Yeah, we won't go into too much about how I'm circumventing IT policies. You don't want to shut that shit down.
You said it best. Those rules are for people. For stupid people. If you can figure out a way around it, that's because the rule wasn't for you.
And I think that's almost the attitude that our IT departments have. It's like, that's the old joke, if you hear the shot, the bullet wasn't for you kind of thing. And I think that is like...
Good quote.
Yeah. Write that down too.
It's like... you're right up there with you dropping the Batman lines a couple episodes ago about living long enough to become the villain.
Oh, that's from Batman?
That's a Batman one, I think.
Really?
Either you die the hero or you live long enough to become the villain.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was right up there with the, heroes, villains, something else. I think the version of that one
Did you hear the dramatic ass cut that Quinta made?
And I saw that, I'm like...
Made it so much more deep than it had to be, but it was so funny.
I'm like, well, one of them's from Batman. I'm like, I've heard the version of the other one was something... And, you can agree with it or not. I think the other version was... one man's terrorist and is someone else's freedom fighter. It's
that's the same thing.
Same concept.
Same thing.
It's true. It's nice.
But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, the IT thing. It's like, okay, I think our IT policies are in place for the, the old lady who works somewhere who'd be dumb enough to accidentally send files to someone in China. It's like, listen, we don't want her to be able to make that mistake. But like,
let's not send our Navy destroyer blueprints to China.
Yeah, I had
probably not the best move.
I had someone a little too high up in our organization one time when I made the joke about selling stuff to China tell me that they would have asked for a refund by now.
You heard about my intern Quinn and how he got fired, right?
Who's that?
My intern Quinn Golick from last summer.
I remember the name.
He got fired
for the stream.
Nah, I don't think he's too upset about it, but
he's not now.
He put something on a Snapchat story that said, the MMSCs are such trash that we're going to have to sell them to Osama bin Laden's son. He put that on his private Snapchat story. He had another intern on it. And that other intern snitched to HR.
Blue Falcon,
and
dude.
then Nate Kuzma comes out to the yard,
up.
fires his ass within an hour of him doing it.
You know what that shows?
He was crying.
You know what that shows that they fired him that fast? Is that he's probably right.
Oh, well,
no warning, nothing. Right. He's probably right.
Right in that the ships aren't great, or right in that Osama bin Laden was related to the Saudi royal family. That's just he was a distant cousin of a Saudi prince. That's where all the money came from. So
I guess that makes sense.
The same saying they're going to sell the ships to Osama's relation. That's just a fact.
Yeah. I do not believe in that. For the record, if anyone from FMM ever watches this, I completely disagree with what he did, and I never told him that was okay.
Attaboy.
None of us agreed.
How quick that you came out
I had
with
to do that. I was getting so
disclaimer.
nervous after I said that.
So we call that a disclaimer.
I always told him that it was not okay to post anything from the yard on his story.
Yeah, cell phone photography is strictly prohibited.
I do not partake in any bit of that.
Did you wink?
Contact.
Is that a wink?
It's like I've never flown my drone more than 1,650 feet. I always use a visual observer, and I have never taken a cell phone photo.
Hopefully this
there
episode
are
never
no
blows
cue
up.
cards behind this camera.
I've never flown my drone over the shipyard and taken pictures of it. Those pictures are not stored somewhere on the company's network drive. They are. They've been used in official publications, and nobody's had any questions.
Exactly. That's funny.
No, the intern getting fired. That's wild.
Yeah.
But they are sensitive about that kind of stuff.
I don't blame them.
And I get it. It's a business. And to make the jokes internally is one thing. But at the end of the day,
you put that shit on a private story and that fucking guy. So I met that kid and it was the weirdest interaction ever. He's definitely not listening, but if he is.
Where'd you meet him?
At the gym.
Here?
Yeah.
He's still in town?
Yeah, and I'm fucking lifting, and this guy is just staring at me. And I was like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Does this guy want to go or something? What the fuck is happening? And he's fucking big. He's small, but he's big.
He's 5'6", and he has a limp from his disease.
Yeah, and he just kept staring. So I assumed that I copped a quick look at some girl, and it was his girlfriend, and I was like, this guy's gonna be fucking pissed.
I'm gonna tell you a story about girlfriends and fellow interns when we're done with this.
But the girl's wearing yoga pants, she's got the bra on, and I just looked for half a millisecond. So I was like, this guy's really gonna fucking come up to me. So he starts walking up to me, and I was like, here we fucking go, man.
Go.
Interrupting my fucking bicep curls here.
He's big fan of the pod.
Yeah. Dude, big fan of the pod, man. Nice to meet you. Can you sign this for me? No, and he walks up, and I was ready to, I was amped up. I'm lifted, and I'm ready to be dude, is there an issue? And he's like, hey, are you Quentin? And I was thrown back. I was oh, he's already in my head. I'm so fucked.
Dude, I knew it was you.
I was
you're the famous YouTuber, right?
Yeah. Dude, I've been subbed since day one, man. No, but basically he was just yeah, I saw photos of you because Tristan showed me or something. And then I was oh.
He was who the new guy I was working with was.
I said, your shit, man. You turned me on to Kratom. Changed my life.
Changed my life, bro. Dude, I would lose it. That would be so
This is a
awesome.
rookie move that
By
this
the way,
guy's
rolling.
pulling all the way on here. You can turn the tip side so you can tip it from the side. I don't know why he's not
Ridiculous.
doing that.
We
Anyway,
still have live farm sim plans. Anyone wondering what we're talking about?
That intern also slid into, you remember Joe Stark?
yeah.
Slid into his daughter's DMs
Ooh,
and did it on purpose just to upset
That's-
him. And he got rehired.
that's an interesting. So I have a couple of intern stories. One, my second year as an intern, there's this guy, and my boss was like, "Hey, can you run him out to Menards? We got to pick some stuff up." So I grabbed this
Nice.
guy. His name was Cameron, whatever. We go out there, and he went to Michigan. I went to Michigan. He's like, "Oh, this is my major." I'm like, "Oh, I know some people in that major, whatever." And I mentioned this girl who I had dated my freshman year. I'm like, "Oh, do you know Nicole?" And I think he just kind of is like, "Oh, yeah, I think so." And then whatever, get back. I'm scrolling through Instagram 2 weeks later. They're at Lala. I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
At what? At Lala?
Lollapalooza in
Oh.
Chicago. I'm
Oh.
like, so she did know her. Like, this is true. So we were on good terms. I'm like, oh, kind of a small world, huh? She's like, I know, isn't that funny? I'm like,
Too small.
he never. I'm like,
I mean-
like, how do you bring that up? But at the same
To
time,
be
it's like,
fair, if I was in his position, I would probably have said the same thing. I don't think I would have been like, "Oh yeah, I'm talking to her. I think we're gonna hit things off." I wasn't gonna say that if I knew he was your
Actually-
ex-girlfriend.
I mean, they've been dating for several months at that point. So like,
Oh yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Blame him. I still blame
Okay.
him.
yeah, I don't know
If you
how.
started off by saying she was your ex-girlfriend, I definitely.
Well, I didn't even say that. I was like,
Oh,
"Oh,
really?
do you know so and so?"
Huh.
And then after talking to her, he 100% knew who I was.
Oh
Like
really?
it was not like this weird thing where I was gonna be like, "Oh, do you know her?" He's like, "Yeah, we're dating," and I was like, "Oh, no way, we used to." Like he
Cool.
knew who I was walking into it.
Damn.
And I'm like, "All right,
That's kind
whatever."
of awkward for him.
Yeah. As far as other interns who did stupid stuff and should have gotten fired,
like
there's
crazy.
one intern who
Remind me to tell you a story about exes and shit like that.
There's one
Go ahead.
intern who failed a drug test.
Yeah. Oof.
And then was like, it was in August, and he failed a random drug test. And he's like, "Hey guys, last day's tomorrow. I'm out of here," and quit so that HR never finished processing his paperwork. He's now a full-time employee.
I was gonna say, kind of smart.
I'm really
but
curious,
he's
but I'll
he's
ask off camera.
He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna get the hell out of here."
Yeah.
Before, like, hey, if I'm no longer an employee, they're not gonna finish this paperwork. It's gonna be like, "Oh, so and so,
Dang.
yeah, he doesn't even work here anymore. So we're not even gonna bother
without the
sending."
2-week notice, and he still got rehired.
Yeah. There's
That's
Interesting.
because they're running low on
Interesting.
people. They'll
Good to
hire
know.
a fucking 6-year-old autistic baby at this point.
Well, he was hired by the same guy who refused to hire me on full time when I wanted to come full time. So, yeah, no,
Damn,
it's
I'm,
fine.
I'm really
It's-
curious.
Yeah, it's
But
fine.
we'll talk later.
Yeah, those are off camera stories.
It blows my mind how, like, and this isn't always the case, but like for example, if I were to say anything to my ex-girlfriends, my current girlfriend would be very upset. But I'm friends with my girlfriend's ex-boyfriend. Like I'll see him all the time in public, and I like dap him up. And for me, I'm just like, yeah, whatever, man. Like he knows I'm dating you, you know, like that's just how it is.
I think that's a case-by-case scenario.
I think it is, but I just thought it was funny, and because you bring up that story.
Yeah.
But
It is super case by case, and I think it's also one of those things where it's like, you said it's now her ex as well. Like they've broken up since, or is he still
Right.
with your ex girlfriend?
No. My current girlfriend
Yep.
had a boyfriend that I'm friends with.
Okay.
But they haven't dated in like 6 years.
And that's one of those
But
things
we're
too,
chill.
where like,
Yeah.
if everybody's good with it,
Yeah.
I mean, to me that says that you're not at all threatening, and it's like,
Right.
dude, we got similar interests.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we're literally we're
Shit.
friends now. Like I'll talk to him more than like she'll talk to him, which is weird. Like if I see him in public, she'll run to the car and I'll be like, "Yo, Drew, what's up, brother?"
So,
Real name?
No, that's his real name.
So
Shout out Drew.
while we're on this topic, I want to ask
Yeah.
a weird question. So like,
Yeah, give it to me.
My roommate in college had been dating this girl for a very long time, so she was part of the whole group of friends. We're all there. They broke up. It was not great.
And those are the worst.
She and I still, I wouldn't say we're friends. We don't hang out. They live hours and hours away, but like still check in about as much as friends do. I think if he knew, he'd be pissed because it didn't end well. And it's like, she was my friend too. Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying, like, I'm
Yeah.
not,
It
and
really
he made-
depends on the breakup.
He visited
Yeah.
not that long ago. I've talked about him.
Yeah.
We did something like this once. We We don't do it anymore.
Oh.
He'll be super jealous if the Bachelor thing kicks off because he.
Oh,
Again, off camera.
No names. Don't give my name.
we're doing the Bachelor thing, by the way.
Oh, fuck yeah, we are. No,
That's next week, right?
he's told you I've done it before, right?
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
he had a podcast.
I
For
heard
the
you were going to do a podcast for it. I was in if
did.
you were going to do it.
Oh, I'll do but previously I've done a podcast for it.
previously.
Yeah, you told me that.
I did 3 seasons.
3 seasons,
Well,
every episode?
A Bachelor, a Bachelorette, and a Bachelor in Paradise. Yeah, an episode every week.
Yeah. You want to do it, man? You got full reins. Here's your studio right here.
I'm
got a studio, we got co-hosts.
big time in.
There it is.
And I think
Let's
it's
go.
because have you never been a Bachelor fan? Are you?
No, I've been into it before.
Okay.
Really, the only seasons I get into is when it's the guy being the Bachelor and then all the other girls.
I mean, those to me are
some reason-
so much more entertaining.
Yeah.
And we'll just.
I think so.
And the other ones, I kind of get somewhat triggered.
The Bachelorette?
Just seeing the girl being a thought, you know?
So there's the girl being and for me, when it's the girls and it's drama, and again, this sounds stupid, and everybody's like, it's so dumb, but
Yeah.
I feel like once you have to suspend reality for a second and be like, all right, I'm buying into it. When you go to
gotta
a
buy
Marvel
in.
movie, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But if you're like, okay, this is the reality on screen, it's awesome.
Then it's amazing. Yeah.
I'm a little fatigued on Marvel, but anyway, that's a whole different
Not
story.
into it,
But
personally.
once you buy in, it's sweet. And I feel like when it's The Bachelor and it's a bunch of girls, like the drama's fun. Like it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
When it's a bunch of
Yes,
dudes
I
and they have
agree.
drama, it's
like-
like dude,
kind of annoying.
It is
It's annoying as fuck.
because you expect a guy to not be so
I don't want
insecure
guys
and
acting
stupid.
like that. I
Like
don't want to see that.
Yeah.
when girls are catty and stupid, it's like, all right, this is entertaining. When guys are, it's like, grow the fuck up, dude.
Yeah, come on,
Like-
man. You're a
and-
grown ass fucking man.
And there's probably a way that's sexist in some
Some-
way. But
someone
like,
will
absolutely.
find it.
Absolutely.
Someone will find an issue with
yeah,
it.
I just said when guys do it, it's annoying. When girls do it, it's fine.
I just said it shamelessly.
I'm
I knew
sure
it was
that-
sexist.
Sure,
It's
there's
just
a problem.
It's just how it is. You know.
But and I'm sure, and I would be willing to bet that there's a strong potential that many girls feel the opposite way. It's
Absolutely.
probably.
like
Guaranteed.
because it's my peer group
Yeah.
and I feel the way about it. And
I was gonna say, I wonder if there's a fucking science to that. Like, maybe it's because the fact that men spend their whole life fighting. Like, if you were to break it down, men spend their whole life fighting for a woman. So why would I want to watch that in a false
Right.
reality of my TV box? I want
Yes.
to watch the women fight for me.
I think that's
Probably
completely.
why.
That's 100% accurate.
Yeah,
At
it's-
least
Yeah.
from my perspective.
That's for
really
me
is
too.
the reason.
I
yeah,
think-
like I've lived through guy drama, but girl drama
Yeah.
is a peek behind the curtain.
I feel like I have
Yeah.
to just like relive past trauma if I watch the
Right.
other version of it.
Right. I'm
who
excited,
wants that?
dude. I'm fucking hyped
Can we
for
like watch
that.
like a trailer of it on here right
You
now?
want
for a
to?
sec?
Let's
yeah,
watch
I
a
mean, I want
trailer.
to see what I'm in for.
So
Dude,
we can
I
watch the
haven't watched
trailer
for 3 years.
or we can pause when we're done and do a quick 20-minute review of the upcoming cast
You
and
want
have
to?
that be like
Do you want to?
I'm down for
because we
that.
could go
Like for yours.
yeah. So I'm thinking
Yeah, we'll switch. I'll
like
take
if-
that seat. You pop up in here.
I mean, you could run it. I'm fine with you taking that seat too. I have no desires to
Wait, so
take
we-
your seat.
So we shouldn't watch the trailer then.
Yeah, we'll skip that. We'll do that as a second, and then we can do that as a preview to the Bachelor
Second.
podcast that we're definitely
What
going
do you
to
mean a
start.
second?
Yeah,
Like,
like a
off screen on your screen.
sure, whatever. I don't care where
You,
we
you got the
record.
reins on it, man. That's your podcast.
He keeps trying to give it to me. I
Take it, dude.
He
This
says he
this
keeps
is his
trying
You're
to
the most
give it.
passionate about
he
it,
keeps trying to give it to me.
apparently.
It is yours. You've done 3 seasons of it.
Yeah, you have the
years ago.
experience.
It's been
You have the
suspended.
experience.
And
No,
see,
it's
like I
yours.
just said, if I do another one. So here's the other reason.
And it's red wine every episode, boys.
I'm totally down, dude. Don't make fun of us, but Luke
wine,
Terrio
cheese.
loved wine, and he got us like hooked up. We'd have like wine nights.
See,
Shit, those
I
were
could-
good nights.
Those were good nights.
if we want to do wine and Bachelor,
I would be not ashamed.
I am
Some
more,
charcuterie boards.
You think I'm kidding, but I'm not.
Dude, I'm
dead
all
ass.
in. I'm all in.
I had someone come and do that once, a friend visit, and she brought all the charcuterie stuff, and it's like
Those whole dude, I go hard when those things are on the table.
Dude,
I love
we're getting a
them.
box of wine and we're getting a
That
charcuterie
salami,
board.
the aged cheese.
Swear to God, we're getting a box of
Yeah.
wine, charcuterie board. We're putting it on that table right there.
Dude, that's how I used to relive my last Bachelor watching. It was always a box of wine
So-
and not a classy bottle.
Yeah,
so.
too classy.
We got to workshop names for it though.
So you just really want to rebrand this whole thing?
It has to be because
Wait,
first of
what?
all, the old one wasn't great. Second of all,
Okay.
if I'm doing it again, I'm gonna have to deal with that guy who's probably like my only friend left in the world,
Yeah.
being pissed that I'm starting up the podcast
fuck.
again and cutting him out. If I'm joining someone else's,
I
it's
see
like,
what
hey
you're saying.
man, I couldn't bring a +1, but if I'm starting one now,
Yeah.
it's like I didn't invite
Fair
him.
point. Fair point.
Okay, so give me the rules. So break it down for us. So you would watch the episode.
Yep.
Then you would record after that episode. You'd record after talking about that, and then you would release that sometime that week.
Yeah, so sometimes we would record right after the episode, which got real tough because it got really late. And then I would try to, this again, when I was super bored at the office, try to get the edit done that morning and have it out by so if the episode's on Monday, I'd try to get it out Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning, like 8 a.m.
Yeah. And then when that became a time issue, it was like, okay, well, we're going to record Tuesday night. We'll have it out, almost right away Tuesday night. As soon as it's done recording, I'll try and do as little, record it in a way that we needed as little editing as possible.
Yeah.
So like sometimes it would be like, okay, I didn't have time to watch it. I'm going to pull up Hulu on the mini screen while I'm at work on Tuesday morning, watch it, record it, and then do that. So it's almost like we watch it. You get a second watch in just in case you miss something the first time around.
Yeah.
And then we'd record and drop it on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And that the schedule just became a pain, especially because we were doing it over Zoom and stuff.
Yeah.
It was not a lot of fun to edit because the sound quality was not great. Like it was not an ideal setup.
So again, I mean, I feel bad because this really is your idea, so I feel kind of bad. But the way we could do it is we could do it like as almost like a reaction video.
Yeah.
So we could literally just pop this shit on, put it on, and listen to it, which would suck because we'd have headphones on for a long time watching it, and just react it, and then we'll just cut it to make to be it wouldn't be a podcast basically.
We could eliminate some of the time involved with it, which is
some
good.
people. There is also the option, and people will do this as long as you don't show that screen.
Yeah.
You do it as like a live watch along type of thing.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different animal.
Would I not be allowed to show that screen? I would only be able to show bits of it, right?
I don't know exactly how that works. I know for sports, they're really big about not showing that screen. I don't know how. I really don't know how that would go. I think sometimes it's difficult to show the screen unless you have like a camera pointed at it. Because if you're trying to like stream it on the computer and put it in OBS, I think like ABC.com will.
Oh, it's on ABC. Yeah, they'll definitely get pissed.
Oh, it's
if you
basically
show
piracy.
Yeah.
So how the fuck does Cody Co react to Too Hot to Handle and that shit?
It's like buy licensing rights to it.
You can buy licensing. You have certain freedoms when it's reaction. The ones where you get in trouble with it is like if it's live. So like if I don't have a way to access ABC
and live streaming this. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm stealing ABC's revenue because I'm streaming it live.
You can watch a stream and basically watch the content without having to pay for it, have the channel for it. Yeah, that's where the problem would come about.
If you were to react to clips later, as long as I think, as long as you're showing that there's an original content take, like there is a YouTube parameter that allows for that. But to do it live is a whole different issue.
Right. So I was gonna say is we could even do both. I mean, this is really pushing it, but like if you just. So we had all this shit on, right? We're recording, we're live, we're screen recording too. But when we go back to edit it, it's an hour long, right? But we don't want to watch the parts where we're not talking. So we would edit it to the point where where we're yelling or screaming or do something stupid or if he trips and falls. But then we could make like a 10-minute video that's like funny and engaging the whole time. And then after that is when we could even record the podcast. So we'd have a video and a podcast after talking about it. That sounds like a lot though.
I mean, if you think about it, really all it is, the editing is the time there, but really all it is, if we're going to watch it, may as well throw the mics on.
Right.
I
agree.
We're watching it with mics on. We use it, we don't use it.
It'll be fresh in our memory. I feel like I'll forget like half the stuff, like if we're doing it the day after or something.
Do we want
to
watch it and then record a podcast? Or do we want to live react to it?
I think if we're in the same room, watch it and record it is a good time.
So let's just keep the baby rolling.
And then just cut it up. And then post it like later.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
Maybe we could do like a short recap after it.
Because I'm always against cutting stuff, like when it comes to a podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think you need to chop it up a whole lot. But if it's like hey, the camera show just ended, what'd you think? Like,
I feel like you'll have a lot of dead air if it's just a live stream.
Right, that's what I'm worried about. Because we won't be talking, we'll be listening.
I mean, like if we're talking the whole time, we're not going to be watching it and vice versa,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we do it after, run it after.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. We'll get back.
Right after.
We'll definitely pump some content out somehow from this. Dude, I just love having common people here because normally it's like, oh, engineer this, engineer that. But when I have people that I can say the word like, let's create some content to, and they're like, dude, yeah, fuck yeah, let's do it.
I
It's
like to think
awesome.
I'm not an average engineer. I mean, not
No,
the common
I-
interests of normal engineers, I guess.
I would include you in that thing, because usually if you go to someone, you're like, yeah, man, tonight I'm gonna make some content. They're gonna be like, what the fuck does that mean, dude?
What the fuck do you mean you're not watching anime and hentai
Is,
tonight?
I was gonna say, is my brain so corrupt that when someone says I'm gonna go home and make some content, I just assume they have an OnlyFans? Like,
Well, it's sad because they're making more fucking money than I am.
I mean, we've all thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, come on, just sell feet on OnlyFans.
I think that's Tristan saying he hasn't.
Tristan's like, I'm out. He's actually going to make some content right now.
I don't know.
We'll discuss it. We'll figure out how we're gonna do it.
Yeah, so we gotta workshop a name.
Yeah.
That's the big names are tricky. This, like I said, this one, I'm not gonna say you cheated on the name for this one,
The
but
pod.
like it's really
Yeah.
kind of snuck one in there.
Bachelorette, the Bachelor Pod or something
Yeah.
like that. Bachelor Pod. We'll figure something out. Oh, I'm sorry, Tristan. Then why don't you get over here and fucking say it in the mic like a man?
Trying to kill the COVID in my mouth.
He's trying
So-
to kill the COVID in his mouth.
You just doing shots of whiskey or what? So
Really?
No, I'm just making another mixy.
So I'll ask you a question here, as long as we're kind of pivoting off the topic of making content.
Okay.
And it's probably a weird question because I'm in the same spot. So if this is what you like to do, I'm
Yeah.
assuming that you've liked this for a while.
Yeah. Podcast or like content?
Just content in
Oh, yeah.
general. If
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is what
Definitely.
brings you joy, to use that lame phrase, but
Yeah,
this
it's true.
is what excites you. This is what
Right.
you get up for. How do we end up in engineering?
Well, that's because I figured out this too late. I bought my first camera sophomore year of college. So when I left high school, I was football, basketball, baseball in high school. So I didn't longboard, I didn't surf, I didn't have a camera, I didn't do any of that shit. Sports was life, That's what I did every night. And then I got to college, and then freshman year was kind of like, it was military school, so I was getting yelled at, blah, blah, blah. And then I got my first credit card, and I had $1,000 of credit, and I was like, I'm only going to use it for when I have money in my checking. Next thing you know, I got $6 in my checking, and I have $1,000 in fucking credit card debt. But I ended up buying a camera because I think it's because my ex-girlfriend was a photographer. So I ended up buying a camera, and I hated it. Nikon D3500, never used it.
Same.
Yep, I never
Same
used
first
it.
camera.
Yeah.
I liked it, but it's one of those things you look at it as like, oh, it's a Nikon, it's a
Yeah.
nice camera, and then you learn a little bit about cameras, and it's like, it's an entry level camera.
Yeah.
You want something over there's flashing at you. I don't know
check.
if it's just an internal camera temp. It looked like it might have shut off. Yeah, just shut her down, turn it back on. I've never had it do that before, but I've also never recorded in 4K for this long. I'll say for me, probably same issue in discovering too late. Also, I was, when you're 6 years old and you start to plug stuff in like we did here, the olds in the room are like, oh, you like to solve problems and play with stuff like that, you should go be an engineer. And
That's
when you've
exactly the shit I heard.
when you've been told that since you were 6, it's like, okay, I'm going to go be an engineer now. And this is a question you asked about an hour ago that I never really answered, is like, okay, and then all of a sudden you start to get into it, and it's like, well, this is not exactly what I wanted.
No,
And
not at all.
I think the biggest thing that turned me off to engineering school was like, okay, we've got 200 kids in this room. They all have this kind of brain. They all want to do this. They're all sitting here solving. It's we study this and we do this so we can solve problems out in the real world.
Right.
You have 200 people who are relatively intelligent individuals who have a proclivity to solve these types of issues, and they're all solving the exact same problem that 200 kids solved last year and 200 kids the year before and 200 kids the year before.
Right.
What an absolute waste of brain power.
Right.
It's like, all right,
Yeah.
we're all going to solve this problem on, where we should put the loads on this bridge. How about we pack 2 of these kids up and send them to some developing country where they actually need to build this bridge and then do it instead of solving this same fictitious bridge for the 8,000th
fucking
time.
using
Yeah.
the pony. Did you guys call it ponies? No? It's like if I take a test that was last year's test, they already took it and they kept the test, they gave it to me, it's a pony.
When you say ponies,
Are we talking about horsepower or
the fuck
pony
are we
power?
talking-
so
Dude, he created the perfect equation to convert horsepower to pony power.
No, I didn't. James Watt created horsepower to pony power. We did.
What is the importance of pony power?
So,
Everything,
so
Tristan.
here's the problem with this whole story is it
The
started
fuck?
out. And we're getting off the topic of why I dropped out
Side
of
note,
engineering
It's a
school.
hectic. We're hectic, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Finally
fun.
starting to get a little bit more
I
hectic.
dropped out of engineering school because I hated solving the same problems over and over again, and I really didn't like doing school, so I wanted to go
Right.
do it. And
Shit,
also, I
dude.
interned for a summer, and I was like, none of what I'm learning in school is going to help me
Yeah.
do this job.
People ask me
And-
that every single day. Like, how long did you go to school for this? I don't do a single thing I learned in school.
Well, I said that too. They're like,
Literally.
well, what about like all the AutoCAD side of it? I'm like, we did SolidWorks. I could have spent 10 more years
so
there.
I did
and-
NX.
Yeah.
I never even used AutoCAD until I got here.
Yeah, it's like not a single thing I learned in school is helping me here today.
To be honest, I used a few integrals in real world situations, even in the shipyard. But
What
other
the
than that,
fuck did you use an integral?
it was an integral and a heat transfer problem because we were trying to figure out if the pipe would be too hot to touch, given if we couldn't use enough insulation as we were supposed to.
Yeah.
Because there was an interference.
Here, the
There
engineers
was
go
that
off.
one, and then there was another one. I forgot what the integral one was for.
I've
but-
never ever used an integral, and I probably never will.
I break out trig most days. That's kind of where.
Oh yeah, trig
Yeah.
is like weekly.
Yeah, I can see that.
But
Sokotoa. Yeah, we do use that.
We use that.
I had someone who is and I always joke I'm not a real engineer because I didn't finish school. I had someone who's a real engineer with like 10 years of experience one day. They're like, can you solve this triangle? Like I had solved a triangle and I was like, here's how I did it. Like you can like, this is what I did for the process. I got to go do other stuff. Like I was helping them with something.
Right.
And they're like, oh, can you send me the link that you used for that? I'm like, it's a sign. Like it's a right triangle. He's like,
There's
yeah,
no
but like
link.
like you had an equation up on your computer. I'm like, that was just to like show basic trig functions. I'm like,
Can I
Google-
ask who asked that? Is it someone from our department?
No.
It was me.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
No,
Wouldn't surprise me.
This is not a where I made an ass of myself going,
Okay,
who the
okay.
hell used spray eye drops and then
Oh,
find
that's
out later.
exactly who I thought it was, dude.
No. I try and
Oh
limit
my
those
God, I have some
interactions.
stories about that guy.
I don't blame you.
Fuck.
I have blissfully not had a whole lot going on there. Where the hell were we?
I don't know.
Trig.
Trig, real engineer.
I can't taste
Don't
how
want to
much
become a real
alcohol
engineer.
is in here right now.
Good.
It absolutely
Good for
tastes
you.
like it's just cold water.
Dude, I want to do this all night.
What-
Fuck work. I want to do this all night
How come
long.
this one's flowing there?
I wanna go
than any
live.
other one.
Is there a good spot to split this into two parts?
Shit,
Well, that was
are we at
25
like
minutes
2
ago.
hours right now?
We're an hour 30.
Shit, 8 o'clock.
Dude, what time is it? 8?
Yeah.
I want to do this. I like this group. I
Get that fourth mic, and then we can have Brock be another
I'm
co-host, and we
starting
can
to
just
think
bring someone else
I'm
in.
starting to think Brock should just be here every week.
I know.
And
the
I think
conversation's
I'll get the fourth
flowing.
mic, and I think we're just gonna move that chair over here and make it a.
Yeah, so I don't want to be a dick at this point, but if I'm not back
Say
next
it.
week, I'm gonna be mad.
Because is it fun?
Damn.
You have no. I knew this was fun because
He's
again,
loving this shit.
we
I
talk
can
about
tell.
the Bachelor podcast I did before. I loved it. It was not an ideal group to do
Yeah.
it with because it wasn't this. It was that engineer who goes home and watches anime.
Yeah.
Again, I love the guy. He's
Hey,
one of my best
me
friends.
that used to be me in the past too, but people
he
can
gets,
change. Shout
I
out
get an
Luke.
extra $200. I'm buying some camera shit or
Yeah.
buying another microphone. He
Yeah.
gets an extra $200. He's buying a box set of X-Men comics. Like
Right.
we're
Right.
not the same. I
not-
love him, but he's not built for this.
Right.
So I mean, I was pumped to come do this. This was.
Fuck,
Yeah,
I'm
you'll
happy.
definitely be back next week. We'll have Cherry on here when we get a fourth
When we
mic.
get a fourth mic, right?
Dude, I just this is fun because like again back to the content thing. Like I want to make content, and I want to figure out. So I need your help with this. I was gonna wait till I got home, but if we have 3 people here now that are very interesting people, and we have fun like this, I want to do I want to start going live somehow on YouTube. And originally, I was going to do a live 24-hour podcast. It was going to be like a challenge where I'd podcast for 24 hours, and I would just have my friends kind of like mix in and out because unless someone wants to do it for 24 hours with me, which I don't, if you do, well, then let's do it. But I want to start going live because if I go live, I can tell people on my Instagram, like, I don't know, come roast me, and that'll get people to come view and chat and comment.
And 24 hours is a hell of a lot easier, I think, live, because you're gonna set up your structure, you're gonna have the stuff you want to hit, but then all of a sudden, if you can react to someone shooting you a DM or someone in the comments,
hours fly by.
now you can start to react to that. You
Right.
add all those people to
Right.
it, and you see how this goes. If you're sitting here talking by yourself, it's like, all right, John, and then you get to, all of a sudden someone else throws something out. You mentioned ponies, and
Ponies.
we end up. You tempt me into diving back into the pony power conversation.
Right.
And
Right.
it's way easier the more people you have involved to give ideas to get going. So I think if you're going to do 24 hours, it has to be live.
Yeah, 100%. I wouldn't do it unless it was live. But the purpose is if I can get a surplus of people initially that I know, and I just put it on my story, on my Snapchat, like, hey, come roast me. I'm going live for 24 hours, right? Mm-hmm. So the initial phase of people is going to be people that know me, coming on here, making fun of me, calling me stupid, or being like, what's up, blah, blah, blah. But on YouTube, if you start a live and 50 people join right away, that's very, very gracious. But 25 people join right away, YouTube's going to shit that live out to everybody. Mm-hmm. And then other people that don't know me are going to be like, holy shit, this guy's been podcasting for fucking 24 hours. Let's click on it. And then they're going to be like, oh my God, there's 20 people here. Let's fucking make fun of them. And then I'm hoping that it'll just exponentially become like, keep growing. And people are like, because the fact that it's a challenge, people are going to look and be like,
notification.
Yeah, it just keeps saying it's getting too hot.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the screen or the camera.
Oh shit.
I don't know.
I'll take
it might
a
be
peek.
the camera. Yeah,
I'll take a peek.
But I don't know. I want to find something out where I can live stream, like for you two, because you guys are gamers. Well, I think you guys are gamers. Like you guys would stream
I
gaming.
myself a gamer still.
Right? But like, what the fuck would I stream on YouTube? Fucking me sitting here.
Talkable cameras and.
Yeah, but you can only talk. You got to stream something that isn't limited.
Dude, you could stream Warzone. You like that shit?
Yeah, but see, that's not my niche. I'm not. See, like, since I got into YouTube as heavily as I haven't played video games once.
Yeah, you really stopped talking about COD ever since I started knowing you.
Yeah, yeah.
You talked about it a lot more when we first met than you do right now.
Because that's what consumed me.
Yeah.
Was video games, which I didn't mind. It was a fun, good time, but I like this a lot more.
Now, I don't know if you want to answer this question right now, but are you going to continue being a sailor?
Dude, I don't know.
Or are you just going to keep that going until you actually like blow up on social media?
I don't know what I'm going to do, man.
You seem extremely conflicted right now.
The problem is, like with sailing, you can't beat it. You can just buckle down and go away for 90 days and come home with 6 figures is like ridiculous,
Yeah, but then you just completely abandon all your
schedule. How do you keep a posting?
And you've been so consistent
for
these like last 2 months.
So I think what I'm going to do is initially I'm going to join Hornback, which is 21 days on, 21 days off, because what I can
that's
do...
not like that long. It's
I
not like 90
I can pile
days.
up content for a good 2 weeks,
True.
And schedule it for 2 weeks, and then 1 week I'm gone, but maybe I can find Wi-Fi to post a video. I think that's what I'm going to do, which is going to suck. Yeah. But the question still arises, like in 2 years, if I keep this schedule up for 2 years...
You're bound to gain some traction.
I'm going to have a very good following, I believe.
Yeah, you're going to get something.
So now the question is, how do I get out of my obligation?
I mean, you're not completely obligated to it, are you? Or
100%,
or
yeah.
Are you?
My school is free. Yeah, I got my degree is worth $250,000. If I don't do my obligation, I owe the government $250,000. So either I need to make double that, $500,000, and say fuck you, here's $250,000 check, or
holy fuck,
I gotta find a loophole.
So like, how long do you have to do it for?
Sailing is 6 years.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah. So his dollar amount to do this full time just got a hell of a lot higher than mine.
Holy shit, I had no idea about that predicament, dude.
If they accept this, which I think they do, I'd have no problem coming up here for 90 days.
Oh, like you're talking about like doing the FMM work.
Yeah, like if this counts.
Oh, that is your loophole right there.
Because like instead of doing this, I go to C, because if I go to C, I come home after 90 days with 6 figures. I come home from here, I don't have 6 figures. You know what I mean? But if YouTube makes me 6 figures, then I don't need to go to C for that money. I can just come up here and be like, oh, I got Wi-Fi. I got a pretty good setup. I can keep posting content even though I'm getting my shit done. So I think that's what I would do. If in 3 years this makes me full-time money, like good full-time money, I will call it Paul and I'll be like, hey, I'll work for you part-time. I'll put in on and off 60 fucking days, and I'll just go back and forth until my obligation's done.
Oh, shit.
And then that puts me at 27, and hopefully by then I'm out there.
Good for you, dude.
Well, not good for me
Respect.
yet. I ain't got nothing. I got 513 people
You got a plan.
that don't watch me. I ain't got a plan. Yeah.
There's a plan.
Oh, is
Yeah.
513 the subscriber count
Dude,
now?
we've gotten like 15 in the last
Dude,
3 weeks.
I think when you first posted your podcast for the first time, I think you were at like 480 or 490, something like
Yeah.
that.
483
It's like
exponentially, man.
it's like plus 30. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
go.
learning. I found out that I got a lot of those subs from the shorts that I did where I put the subtitles. So I think instead of posting those weird reels and shit I've been doing, I'm going to just chop up all the long form content.
There's a difference between shorts and reels.
I meant they're same thing, but
Oh,
reels
okay.
is Instagram, shorts
Okay.
is YouTube.
Oh, okay.
And I just downloaded TikTok too. I'm gonna post to it,
Fucker.
so hopefully it doesn't fuck me up.
Yeah, just don't use it to pass your time.
Yeah, dude, I want you guys to start streaming, like really bad, like legit.
What do you normally play?
What I normally play? Have
gotta
you ever
pee
heard of the
again.
game Polytopia?
No.
It's not my main game I play, but it's what I've been playing more than anything.
So it was charging because I forgot it was almost dead.
Yeah.
So I think while it's charging, it's getting too hot. So it's still giving me a temp warning, but when I pulled the power cord out, it at least stays on.
It's like it's a combination between chess and Stratego, I would say, except with a randomly generated map.
Okay.
It's really fun. Me and my brothers got addicted to that shit.
So super saturated streamer world.
I mean, that one would not have much of a view of an audience, I would say. I just play that for fun, and I like strategy games. But other than that, I don't know if you've ever played any of the Dark Souls games.
Yeah.
I love those fucking games. Well, the first one I was ever exposed to was Elden Ring.
Okay.
And as soon as I beat that, I had to play all the other ones because I couldn't get enough of that.
Yeah. So, and like I said, no internet, no video games growing up really, other than like the 4-player split screen Modern Warfare in the basement. So when I got to college, my first roommate was a computer science guy. Had everything. I think he was probably nationally ranked playing Counter-Strike. Like he was
Nice.
phenomenal. So he was on his PC. So I took his Xbox 360 and just played stuff on that. And he had Dark Souls on there. And a lot of hours, a lot of swearing.
Dude, those games are so fucking great.
It's fun. It's one of those games that is just a nightmare to play. But that really is the appeal of it. Is like,
Dude,
this is going to suck.
I genuinely enjoy myself when I play it. I don't ever get too
Play what?
frustrated. I don't know if you've ever played Dark Souls 2.
You guys lost
Did
me.
you?
It is commonly referred to as one of the harder games to play, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I think it's
is-
considered the hardest one of the games.
Yeah, it's wild. It's long. I was incredibly
unfair.
frustrated.
It's completely random.
Daggers only. No Zweihander for this guy.
Yeah, I have no idea. What the
Oh shit,
fuck
we're
this
watching
is.
this shit.
Yeah.
This is what I've been most into lately.
I've really only played Call of Duty. That's all
the
I've
first
ever
video
Yeah.
game I got really into was Super Smash Bros.
Okay.
I won a small tournament one time,
Oh,
but I never did anything other than that. I play a bunch of online matches back when the games like first come out. Then I kind of get bored of it because I feel like they don't have that much replayability unless you have people with you right there at the time playing it with you. But that was one of my main games that really got me into it.
Yeah. I mean, you can.
Shit,
I mean, when
dude.
you stream
this
it.
fucking plays.
Yeah, this thing.
I remember this plays
I'm
vividly.
I'm watching this guy just reliving how frustrated I was on this level. He's doing it. Oh, Andy's down. But yeah,
I
think-
would love
I'm
to watch
fucking-
you play one of these games.
Oh,
Me?
that would
Yeah.
be fun. That's
There's a live stream. I feel like people would love to watch your first time trying to play one of these games.
so. I think there's something here too. Is you take one of these games, you put someone like Quentin who's never played it.
And these games are made to piss you off.
is it
Quentin.
like it's a campaign? Like that's the premise.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
basically all it is. I never played any of the multiplayer on these games. And this game is something special because every time you die, you lose a little portion of your health, and you have to use a hard to get item in order to replenish your health back to full.
Yeah, and every time you rest at the little fire there to replenish your health, all the enemies come back.
Yep. Everything
A lot of
respawns every
rules in this
time.
game.
Yeah, it's a good time. But I
Sick.
think there's an idea. We could throw that into the 24-hour stream.
Fuck yeah, dude.
We'll make him play Dark
Hell
Souls
yes.
2, and
Yeah,
you,
we literally just need to come up with like a shit ton of
Oh,
ideas.
that's a great idea.
you and I can sit here and do commentary of him playing Dark Souls 2.
Dude, that'd be... I want to do that tomorrow.
Dude, okay, I'm making a list. Also, what do you do on Sunday mornings?
Not much.
Tristan, what do you do on?
I go to church on Sunday mornings, like
You
the
actually-
the nice young Catholic boy I was raised as.
Do you actually?
I do it to make my parents happy, but really, I go there and I just self-reflect. I'm not really listening to
So we
everything
can't
they say.
record on Sunday mornings.
No, I mean I can at like 11.
At 11?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm free at
okay.
that time.
I've been saying this for the last 10 episodes. Is I really want to do like a morning one on the weekend, because I just like. Now it's like, okay, after this I gotta go to bed, blah, blah, blah. But in the morning you wake up, you get like Starbucks or something, you show up, you're like, all right, this is my job today. It's like to record a podcast. So I've been wanting to do it on like a morning, but I work Saturdays now, so the only day I could do it would be Sunday. 24, I'm writing this down in my 24-hour podcast.
Yeah, I think morning's a good time. I mean, I've never done that. It's always been evening type thing, just because I feel like to sit down in the middle of the day. But then again, I've never done anything like this with a decent, with a crew. Even when I was go on and stream stuff, it's like, okay, what am I gonna do? Sit here and play Fall Guys in the middle of the day on Twitch?
I've never played that game.
Tristan and Brock.
It was a good. It was a good stream.
Brock, this is the one that I'm currently playing.
Okay.
Oh, right now.
I'm like halfway through it. But to be honest, this has been the easiest one. But I've
What
gotten
else
pretty.
would we do on this 24 hour? I'm excited that we can actually do this here if you guys are down.
Dude,
But
I'm totally
I
willing.
will say though, it's going to be different though, because if I were to do it in Charleston, I would rotate people. But here, the people that are with me are in for it.
Yeah.
You're
okay,
down for
fair.
it. You know what I mean? How would you do it?
Yeah,
Would
you have very limited people to sub in around this
we
area.
wouldn't be
You got
subbing.
like Alex and
you
that's
guys
it.
would be here 24 hours.
You got to bring Alex back.
Yeah, we have
'cause
to. He was good.
He's good for a couple. Alex is one where I think if it were live and you got him to forget he was on it,
Yeah.
that's when you get when you get pure unfiltered.
What
Alex,
else? What else do we do for this? We can't get drunk
No, absolutely not.
because
'cause
then
I'll
you're going to pass out.
Yeah, no, you'd never be able to pace yourself for that.
No, hell no. Kratom is still on the table though for that.
Right, but like, what do we do? So all I have right now is we interact with the live chat.
Hey, that can be
Hugh
Brock's-
plays video games while Tristan and Brock make fun of him.
It's gonna be Brock's first Kratom experience if he's down for it.
Ooh,
Well, we
boy.
can't force him to take it.
Oh, absolutely not. That's why I said if he's down
Yeah,
for it.
no, I'm good at giving into peer pressure.
Damn. Okay, my
no,
bad.
don't worry.
My bad.
Don't worry. I'm really good at giving into peer pressure. I'm really good at it.
Yeah, it really doesn't need to be that much pressure.
I don't know what we do for 24 hours.
Everyone pukes from their first Kratom experience.
That's a
that's
lie. Everyone's first creative experience is amazing.
For the first 5 minutes and then they puke.
Everyone that has tried it first has not puked. You're the only one. That's because you have
I
a.
thought your other buddy did for that last podcast.
So how many?
No, that was
one
like his
in
10th
Charleston.
time taking it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How many podcasts have you not been sick for?
0.
That's not true.
I know.
That's not true. There's only been like 2 I have been sick for.
I don't know, because the first 2 or 3 we were really like nervous. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
would count
I mean,
that.
you can count that, and you can count the one I was. I
Actually
puked
sick?
from the Kratom for, and this one I'm like legitimately.
Sick.
I think I have COVID. I can't taste or smell.
Yeah.
So that's like 4. 4 out of the 7 I've been in. Okay, and that
That's a
one where
lot.
the Christmas special, I got sick at the end of that one. So it's like actually only 2
That's
I haven't
5.
been sick for.
Oh my god. I think that's
Damn,
all
that's a
of
bad
them that
rate. That's a
we've
bad
done.
rate.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fuck.
So for a 24-hour podcast, do you stay up first or do you start early?
Huh.
You know what I'm saying?
I think
It's hard too because you're not up moving around a lot. Like you're restricted to the headphones.
I feel like
so you can't go run or
I
anything.
feel like we would have to like start at 5 p.m. and like maybe take a fat ass nap before it. Like try to sleep in
Yeah.
as late as you can.
Yeah.
And then like after we sleep in as late as we can, maybe start. So like maybe start like at 11 maybe.
See, I thought it would be early. That was what I thought. You force yourself
Yeah.
to get up early. You start at 6. You're groggy for 2 or 3 hours, but then you're awake because you slept, and then you just got to party through the night until 6 a.m. Then you just go fucking pass out for the day.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because you talk about that, you get that initial flow. When are you going to hit that inflection point of being on long enough, having enough people watching?
Yeah.
So like, when do you?
I honestly say,
I think for me, I feel like if I wake up early and then once it starts getting dark out, I feel like my natural instincts are going to kick in. So I feel like I kind of almost want to be out of my element to start out. Like, and that for me would be sleeping in later.
We would just have to come up with a bunch of things to do. So originally we'll start like this.
As long as we have something to keep us stimulated throughout the night.
We'll just talk like this, talk about anything that comes up, interact with the chat if there is anyone in the chat. And then once we're just like...
We could do our Q&A during that
then we
too.
do like the video games, or then we do like fucking cooking or something. We'll just pick the fucking camera up and move it.
You guys have a lot to teach me about all this camera and drone shit. That could go on for a while because I feel like I'm so dumb when it comes to that shit.
We need to brainstorm this because I will do this in like the next 2 weeks. It'd be challenging.
I'm down.
I think we should do it.
I'm invested.
And we would have to do it. I guess we would have to do it at night first because it would have to be my Saturday night after work.
He didn't even talk to the cat.
Because dude, fuck the video.
God damn it. There's like a couple things you gotta do.
You gotta talk to the cat, guys.
He'll go back.
Smithers room.
He's not a
the cat's room.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll talk off the camera about it.
Trying to figure out how to be mobile with it so that you can move around.
Yeah.
I like the cooking idea.
Yeah.
You throw a little
we're gonna have to eat.
We are gonna have to eat. Yeah.
And you've turned into quite the chef, as from what I've seen from the pictures you sent me.
I've been chefing some fucking shit up, bro.
I did one OnlyPans video once upon a time.
OnlyPans? What the fuck?
OnlyPans.
It was not good.
What is that?
So there is a girl who's on TikTok. She does OnlyPans, and it's cooking. It
sounds amazing.
Phenomenal. I love it. It's hilarious. It's a lot of puns. It's a good time. So I did one just as a joke where I made frozen chicken tenders in the air fryer. Not exactly a culinary delight, but it gave me an excuse to pull all the lights and cameras and stuff into the kitchen for a while.
I like that. Yeah.
But yeah, you start to do that.
We could do podcast yoga.
Ooh.
Where we have to keep them keep everything on, but do yoga.
We could do a little workout so you can keep up with your training.
True.
A little in-home body weight workout.
Excited. I really want to do this. Like I would do it this weekend, to be honest. We'll figure it out. But like I said, we just need a bunch of things to do. Play Monopoly or play a fucking board game or something.
Monopoly, dude. That'll make me fall asleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Terrible board game, in my opinion.
We could check it out, but now I'm almost wondering if we don't want to. Wondering if we did it at my house, because the kitchen's almost set up for doing a cooking show in the kitchen. Like there's the stove and everything's on the island.
That was the next thing.
We could move into the basement. We could do a foosball tournament.
Oh
damn,
yes.
bro! What kind of house you got cooking up over there, bro?
Yeah, it's not fancy. Like it's just it's a relatively inexpensive foosball table off to the side, but like,
how expensive do they get though?
Foosball tables, bro. Holy
shit! I have no idea. Honestly.
Pretty wild with the foosball tables.
I was gonna say my kitchen would be hard to do that. But I've always wanted to do drunk cooking, but we can't do that because
we could do that towards the end of it.
We could do a funny video.
Or something.
Dude, the second if you are 20 hours deep without sleeping and you put a fucking sip of alcohol in your mouth, you're gonna pass the fuck out.
So the couple
of alcohol act like a stimulant.
So the couple times that I've done, so I used to, like I've mentioned a couple times, kind of generally work at a marina and we have a sailboat race and they start to finish at like 10 p.m. and they finish all through the night based on the race that they're doing. So I've done I've been awake for about 48 hours straight doing that. And I personally, I consider every hour after 30 to be a beer. So by about 40 hours, it feels like we're about 10 beers deep. Like that's kind of how it starts to feel once I start to get that to that time. So like that's not until we get to 30. At 24, we're still hanging in there. But like to the point where I'm riding a bike at 36 hours awake, and it's like, whoa, guys, maybe we shouldn't be here, right? like hey, someone take my keys.
Quentin, did you ever have to? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Sorry.
Did you ever?
Sorry, there, but
that's the Canada coming out of me, as Miguel would say.
No, it's all right.
So, did you ever have to rate lab reports at Kings Point?
Oh, yeah. Well, like for labs.
Do that live.
Yeah. No, not the point I was getting at.
We could
do chemistry experiments live in my basement. I've done that before. Dude,
I would totally do that. I'll set the camera up and so you'll comment on me playing video games, and then we'll comment on you doing random chemistry experiments.
Why don't we just buy like a magic kit or something and try to fool the
And
viewers?
then we'll learn
Jigs.
magic.
Oh, you're gonna say that too?
I was just talking about that today.
We're on the same wavelength, Brock. Let's go.
We kept using the term jig. We were talking about cutting jigs and stuff for
Yeah.
build the side shell, and it came up how that always sounds like it's definitely a derogatory term, and that got me
Yeah.
onto jigs,
Yeah.
which someone suggested once. They're like, "There's no way that's not a slur," and then they're like, "No, it's a slur for a magician." Like this fucking
What?
jigs out.
Last point, I
had
used to do
no
a funny
idea.
bit where he would like come up with words that you think are
Oh, yeah.
slurs, but they're not.
I guarantee in
Yeah.
today's world they are. Like
Probably.
you could, like
If it sounds offensive, it's offensive to
If ever you
somebody.
start scrolling the 5th page of hate symbols on the Anti-Defamation League, it's rough.
This guy's fucking good.
Yeah, he's doing this daggers only,
I was
which
gonna
is
say
just
he's super underleveled. He's doing like no damage.
Yeah, he's not making it easy on
Anyways,
himself.
back to the lab reports I was talking about.
Yeah, why'd you bring that up?
Because when I was in college, I was also working like 30 hours a
shit.
week at Applebee's.
Yeah.
And I had a lab report
Jesus.
due every week. And they would like average to like 12 to 16 pages, I would say.
Yeah.
So I would do an all-nighter every single Tuesday night.
What the fuck?
And I used alcohol as a key ingredient to my equation. But
Really?
I wouldn't like get hammered. I would just like slowly sip my tall boy throughout the night. In the school library, let me say.
Oh my god.
And God, I think that was the worst period of my entire life.
Yeah.
No wonder
Yeah.
that relationship never worked out at the time. She would never see
Dude,
me.
we should do it. I want to do it.
So Brock, that's probably for the best that you never went through the deeper level of the engineering courses, because the lab reports got pretty fucking brutal
Oh
towards
my
the end of that
fucking
shit.
God.
Really intensive.
Yeah.
To be
Dude,
honest, none of them ever gave me very many transferable skills.
let's spend a couple of days, like a week, maybe 2 weeks, and come up with random shit to do for 24 hours. And
So are we
then-
gonna plan for like 2 weeks?
And then let's run it. Yeah, I'm down.
All right.
The only thing I need now, so I have an infinite battery, right? Now I just need to get a USB or HDMI to USB-C cable, so I can live stream with that camera. Because I have an app on here where I can live stream, but I can't unless I have.
I have 2.
All right.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
There we
Let's
go.
go.
Well, the other thing, are they long?
So it depends on your HDMI cord.
Because you have the Chromecast.
No. So I've got one that's just like to bring it from the camera to the computer.
Yeah.
So I got one that's just about the size of what you're rocking there, about a
Yeah.
3-inch one, and then I've got one that looks like almost a portable SSD
Yeah.
that sits in the middle. So like you run it whatever you want out of the camera,
Mm-hmm.
and then into that, and then onto the HDMI.
All
So I've
right.
used a 20-foot HDMI cord I have to do it.
So I should do that because, for example, like look how far that fucking camera is. If we were to say for 6 hours we were going to sit here and play video games, I would need a wire that goes from here to that camera in order to use the live stream function. Which I don't even think they make a USB-C to HDMI wire, mini HDMI that fucking long.
No, you'd have to piggyback. Like I said, I use that field monitor as an extension because you go one in and then one out, and then actually the thing would be the same. So
You'll
it
have
would
to
be
show
one
me
in,
how
one
to do
out.
that.
Yeah, I mean you could daisy chain it all the way over.
Because then if we have something that can do it that far, then we could live stream this entire room. You know what I mean? Because we could do whatever.
Yeah.
You know. I'm excited. I'm gonna put board games.
Not Monopoly, please.
I'm gonna put in parentheses no Monopoly.
Dude, have you guys ever played the farming game?
Do you mean the game we were just fucking talking about?
The board game
I'm
version.
familiar with a farm game.
You played?
Oh,
no,
he knows.
no, just simply the farm sim.
It is a fun ass board game. It's kind of like a rip-off Monopoly, but it's like based around farming. It's actually a hoot of a time.
Well, I'm in.
I had a botany class in high school, and for a whole week, it was honestly a
I'm in.
joke. It was a joke of a class. For a whole week of the semester, we just played the farming game.
It's like playing lemonade stand in econ.
Yeah, basically. You did that too?
Sometimes.
Why is that so universal?
My girlfriend had a AP English class where they just played Wordle every day, so anything's possible.
Anything's
Shut the
possible. I'm kind of hungry.
We
Is
can go with the
anybody
board
hungry?
games. No, I'm not hungry at all, dude. Actually,
Oh, really?
I can't even taste anyways.
So you don't want Chinese food?
No, I mean, I don't think. Well, do you guys think I should go to work tomorrow if I can't taste or smell?
It's up to you, man.
I have to go to the clinic at 9:30 anyways because I was supposed to get some blood work done. I think I'm just gonna tell them to COVID test me instead.
Wait, why you getting blood work?
Yeah, because I want to see if I can get on TRT.
Fuck is TRT? Is that a fucking steroid?
Yeah, it is.
Basically.
Oh, it
It
is.
is. Russell put me on it. You know
Russell?
Russell Werner?
Oh.
Honest to God, he is like
Put you on
my Mike
steroid?
Lund to you. I text him more than any other individual in the
Honestly,
world.
I
Me and
do-
him are such good friends.
I do my best not to bother Mike outside of work just because
really?
I see him so much at work.
Well, Russell is texting calls me outside of work. So.
Really?
Yeah,
I
me
feel
and
like
that boy are close.
The
Dude, we should have them on
with
here.
the combination of
dude,
our
it-
schedules outside of work for Mike and I is about an hour a day. So
Really?
I was gonna
Dude, Russ
say,
would totally come on here if he didn't hate you.
yeah, why does he hate me?
I don't know. He's never made a comment about it.
It just
I feel
seems like he hates
I
me.
feel like
I just
everybody
think-
feels
don't-
like Russ hates them. I
Except
feel like
Tristan.
Russ hates me.
I don't feel like that.
Well, yeah, because he calls you all the time.
me and him
kinda
are
cute.
pretty close.
Yeah. Fucking adorable,
He's
dude.
actually a role model to me.
Oh, really? He seems like a
Slightly.
good guy.
Yeah, he's about to
is.
hop on testosterone replacement on
Yeah,
his advice.
Hell yeah.
I don't know what that is. I
Fuck
don't-
yeah.
Why did he recommend that to you?
He didn't, but that's honestly that's just something I've
You're
always
just
been
making
interested
shit up
in.
now.
Yeah.
He didn't
So I said,
recommend
where
it
did
to
you
me.
get that? And you go, Russ recommended it to me.
Oh, did I say you recommended it to me?
Did he? Did he?
Yeah, I think
swear
so.
to God,
So
he did.
basically, it was,
I mean-
or Russ turned me on to
Yeah.
it.
He turned me on to it.
However you want to phrase that.
That's the best phrasing for it.
Keep
but it's
forgetting
something
mine.
I knew about for a long time, but I didn't know that there was like people that actually knew that were on that shit.
Yeah, a little TRT, a little HGH.
He's told me about all the
HGH will fuck
benefits.
you up,
He's in
dude.
the best shape of his life at 39. I mean,
Start taking those Dan Bilzerian trips down to Mexico.
Oh my God.
yeah, it's still probably not the best time to take it when I'm 26 years old, but I think it could be a fun time. Because like I hear that if you like get off it after you've been on it, it has some reproductive harm.
Yeah, let's
I
not
don't know
do
if I'm
that.
all for that, but
Yeah,
at the
you
same
don't want
time, I
that.
don't know if I want kids in the first place. So
And hang
Really?
You
Don't make that decision now, dude.
Trying to find the Twitch just chatting of YouTube.
Yeah, I am. That's good though that nobody does it because that means we'd be the first. But
it is. Does
I don't
YouTube
know.
have like sections for streaming?
no.
Oh, that's kind
They've
of lame.
tried. They've tried because like they have their gaming section and it is.
So like I feel like you already have to be a big streamer to make it on YouTube streaming. Like you have to start off on Twitch, and then once you like actually have a following, then you can go over to YouTube. Because I think YouTube actually has less restrictions when it comes to streaming. Because I hear Twitch is like
Twitch has
kind of
gotten
cracking down.
On what?
well, you can't show nipples. That's one.
Damn.
I didn't know they ever could, but okay.
Fuck.
That was a joke for a while because there were some dudes on Twitch.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, because like I've seen people who do like they were doing man on the street live Twitch streams and the guy was shirtless walking down a beach and he had
Come
pasties
on.
over his nipples because you couldn't show
Jesus.
nipples on Twitch. It's like as a dude on the beach, can't show his nipples.
Can't show nips, man. Can't show the nips.
Free the nip.
Free the nip. All
I
right.
just yeah.
Let's call it here.
I think it's time to wrap it up.
I don't think it
Dang,
is.
dude.
I think
I feel like we go for a long
If-
time still.
I know,
this is
dude.
the crew
Well-
for the 24-hour.
I mean,
Yes.
I mean, you set out this podcast with 2 topics and we didn't even really touch
We
on
Did
didn't
we
one of
talk
even
them.
about
go over
anything.
Logan's list?
No, which is I guess kind of a
Holy
good thing.
shit, dude.
I got a couple of them,
crazy.
but those were like natural anyway. Like, what'd your parents think about leaving college? Little YouTube stuff, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, if anyone is listening to this right now, let us know. I've yet to have anyone comment when I talk to them because I told them I'd give them a free mug.
Yeah, you did.
If anyone's
you did,
listening right
that's
now, I will give you a free mug. I'll
Do you-
buy the mug and send it to you.
I was gonna say, do you put all the plugs at hour 2 or
Like, what do you mean? Like, what when I talk to people?
if anyone's listening, I'll give you a free mug.
Oh yeah, you got to listen through the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm not going to plug you in the fucking first 6 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, we're not going to
Fuck
tell
that.
you how your cat
Uh,
might be plotting to kill you in the first segment.
Right, of course
Yeah.
not. But if you're listening now after fucking an hour and 56 minutes, then hell yeah, man, you're a supporter. I'll give you a mug. I'll send you a mug or a T-shirt.
Next time, remember to set that hook up at the beginning. Like, hey, the end.
That's actually pretty good.
Stick around.
Yeah. Well,
That's-
so after I close this out, I'm going to say something that I'm going to put in at the beginning. Maybe I'll say that.
Yeah, that's the old school local news. In the A block, you set the hook, and then when you get down to
Yeah.
the D block, you run that story, and then you do that feel good story about
It's all about watch time.
kittens in a tree, and you sign off for the evening.
All right, we'll call it.
All right.
All right, Brock, thanks for coming on. I think we're going to have you on a lot. from
Hell of an
now on.
episode.
Absolutely love
And,
it.
Let's
and
go.
if you are listening, we are going to be doing a 24-hour podcast soon. We just got to come up with some ideas.
And Bachelor on Monday.
And
Oh, that's
Bachelor on
Monday.
Monday. So
That's Monday,
I hope
okay.
everyone's more
It's
as
Monday.
excited as
Let's
I
go.
am. We're gonna be
I'm
creating a lot of
lit for
content
that.
here, boys. I'm excited.
Love it.
A lot of brainstorming. All right. See you next week. Thanks for listening. Peace.